Yo, you early birds, how you doing? We got some new music coming up for ya. We got something new for the mix. It's about 2 minutes in. 2 minutes in, people. 2 minutes back. Oh, yo, what's up, people? What is up? I got a little preview. I got someone waiting in the corner here. Let me just give you a sneak peek, if I can get him in. I don't think I can get him in. Okay, you guys are gonna have to just wait in suspense because the countdown is over. What's up with that, people? That actually went, I think, that ended up like cutting out a minute before. So we're gonna do it like Yes, we are booming and bopping in your ears today. So let's go back to the chat. Yo, we got people in the house. We got Game Boy XP Frank. Look, hi, how you doing, man? Great stream. You guys got to check out Frank on Twitch. He is killing it. He just made what do you call it, affiliate, which means he's able to unlock a whole bunch of new things. So check out Frank on Twitch. Frank, type your Twitch handle so I don't get it wrong. I think it's Fraz_66, but you gotta let the people know so they can check you out on there. We got my boy Joshua Taylor in the house. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for being here. And he's saying, drinking, to drink more or just ride the buzz for now. Okay, so I know what you're drinking. I got the green tea here, but if you were on the stream last time, man, there was a little bit of a disaster going on there at the end. So hopefully we can circumvent that. But yes, stay tuned till the end where we're going to reveal the secret Japanese item, food or drink item. And Frank, you're liking the tunes, catchy tunes. Thank you so much. I'm trying out this new audio website. You know, they've got like a few things like Artlist and Epidemic Sound. It's actually called Sonata, and I'm doing the 1 month trial. And yeah, I just basically took that intro that I made, and I make a different one each time and laid on a few other cool tunes. So I'm glad that you're liking it. Thank you so much for being here. Osaka Livin saying, drinking a strong coffee here. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming on the stream. It's so nice to hang out with the Japan fam. It's Saturday night here, September 25th in Osaka. So guys, thank you very much for coming on the stream. We got an exciting show here for you. Let me take a drink. Mazel tov. Kampai. We got an exciting show. I think this is Emceelito streaming live from the den, episode 33. I don't even know. I can't even count. I believe it is 33. And we are doing part 2 of the series Living in Japan, where I focus on a guest who has been living in Japan for either a short time or a long time, and we focus on their origin story as well as what they're going through right now and what their dreams and hopes are in this crazy time of COVID, what's going on with them. And at the end, our guest is also going to be asking me anything, and that'll give you guys the opportunity to ask me anything as well. So I'm going to be welcoming on in a sec. But yeah, just like, how are you doing? Frank has got his Twitch up there. It's Fraz. Yes, Fraz_66. You know, and speaking, Frank is on Twitch. Last Monday, I started Twitch streaming for the first time. I think I'm going to call it Fun Day Mondays, because technically it's Monday in Japan, but it's like Sunday night in North America. So maybe it's Fun Day Sunday Monday. I don't know. I'm still working on the branding there. But yeah, check us out. We're going to do some gameplay, some fun things. We did a little bit of Apple Arcade last time. What else did we do on that? It was like Star Trek games, Castlevania, a whole mix. But a few cool games have been dropping recently. If you're a gamer, Diablo 2, like what's that, remake, or what's it called? Diablo 2 Resurrection. I used to be a hardcore Diablo 2 player. Went into Diablo 3, but I think Diablo 2 is kind of where it's at. So I might be playing that. There's Valheim. There's a whole bunch of other games. I write them down as I see them. So Harvest Day, that looks like a fun one, and Frank's trying to get me on Final Fantasy 14 for the first time. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the Saturday hangouts and the Sunday Fun Day Mondays. Sunday Fun Day Monday, that kind of sounds good. On the Mondays on Twitch, we'll be broadcasting to all the different channels as long as we're not an affiliate there, because once you're an affiliate, if we get that, then they're gonna kind of hammer it down, and yeah, we're gonna mainly focus on Twitch there for the first part there. Con Coleman in the house saying, pedal to the metal, baby. Nice to see you, man. How you doing? Yes, and thank you all for you guys who were on the premiere of that last Kyoto walk I had. It was up there in where was it? It was in Maruyama Park, Yasaka Jinja, and a little surprise in the end for all of you kind of geeks and gamers there. But thank you for checking out. That was like a 27-minute kind of chill out walk. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, and you can see it as one of the recent uploads. There's more in that series coming up. And yeah, Josh, thank you for your suggestions about the hikes, dude. Those sound amazing. I will look into them more and see if I can get you some more anamorphic 4K love in there. And yeah, and Frank, I gotta say a big shout out. Thank you for streaming that on your Twitch. That's amazing. So I'm loving the cross-pollination, the support here. Thank you, all you guys, for coming out. All right, so yeah, let me know how you're doing. If everything's okay, I'm so happy to hear that. And let me know what you're drinking. Just wanted to do a little shout out to my friend Anthony Locke. I don't know if he can be here on the stream tonight, but he's going through some pretty hard times right now. So prayers go out to him. Guys, I hope you send your positive vibes and positive love out to him, because he's kind of in need right now. So let's bring it out to Anthony out there in Utah. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce tonight's guest. Tonight we have a friend that I've known for a while, but like I don't know him that well, but we've kept in touch over the years. We have these musical connections, but actually today we had a really nice chat there at Starbucks in Umeda to kind of like settle in and get him on the show. I think he's gonna be great, and I can't wait to introduce you to my friend Eugene Schneider Kitamura. Eugene in the house. What is up? Woo! Hey. Oh, I love it. You got the dude, I don't have my headphones on, so hold on. I gotta get with it. I was like totally totally hustling and bustling in the background. So let me get my headphones on so that there's no echo from your
All
side.
right.
So guys, if you guys are streaming and you have a guest on, make sure that both of you have headphones so that you can kind of circumvent any sort of echo that might happen, because it's happened in the past. So just give me 1 second here, and yeah, we'll get you on the beer gate. All right, Eugene, can you do a check for me? Check.
Yeah, I hear you. I
Oh,
hear
I'm
you
hearing
all
you.
right.
I'm hearing you
Loud and clear.
Yes. You're sounding good, man. Sounding good. Looking
Do you
good.
do? Okay, good.
Nice.
Good.
I love the shoji background there. It's very
Do
very
you? Do you?
Japanese. Yeah, very
Good.
fitting. So cool,
Yeah,
man.
I also have this flashing light warning me that your show's about to start. So
What? Are you an undercover
like
cop in your spare
yellow
time? Why do you have that?
Yeah. No, it's just yeah, just a warning, man. It's like the first YouTube live show, man. I need every reminder I can get.
Okay, hold on. I don't think I have the actual like sound for that, but put it in the screen on the screen again, and we'll give the horns of alarm. All right, there we
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, what? That is nuts, dude. It's a party over there at Eugene's house. Get over there. I've never seen anyone bring something like that on board the show, but thank you for being the first.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that reminds me, like seriously, where do you get something like that? Um, I watched another streamer in Tokyo. He was doing a bike stream, and he was in Shinjuku, I think, or Kabukicho, one of those kind of dark islands in the night. And we'll get to the chat in a second here, but yeah, the cops were there at Godzilla Road. Yeah, so I guess that's Shinjuku, right, where Godzilla is, and they have the 3D cat. And I think it was an undercover cop. What do you call it? What's it called?
Fukuman?
Fukumen Patoka, right? Fukumen means ghost car, we say in English. And he had the light. It was a red version of that, and he had it on top with the Fukumen car. And the streamer was like, "No, I don't think that's undercover police. I think that's just someone with a light on." What is going on in your place, dude? You got fireworks? What's going on?
No, so this is like a fog machine. I was trying to like see what happens when I put these two together.
When you put them two
Wow,
together,
man.
you know what it is? You get horns.
Yeah. There you go.
That looks really cool. That looks like yellow bursts of fire. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, my friend, my girlfriend kind of got mad at me that I bought like one of these, steamers, which do come pretty much in handy whenever you're trying to straighten out the wrinkled clothing. But then she's really gonna yell at me. I was trying to create a steamer, for Halloween. And when you buy one of these things, it costs like, I don't know, $50, between $50 to $100. And I was trying to figure out a way to come up with like create steam. So you mix like distilled water with glycerin. So I bought these at the Yakyoku, the pharmacy.
Yep.
These two bottles. And then I put it into. This is the first time I do it, and it's okay. Maybe I might have to put in a little more glycerin in there, but anyway, that's my scientist side for you.
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Eugene Schneider, the science guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, while you are putting away your toys, let me go back to the chat real quick, because Con, my man, is telling us what he's got in hand. Got the shochu in hand. Got the Chuhai in the fridge in my corner of the country. Shiga. Okay,
Sounds
dude.
good.
You are loaded.
Beautiful state.
Locked and loaded.
Beautiful state.
Nice. Eugene's loving the Shiga vibes. And he's like, "Hey, Eugene. Greetings from Shiga Man." Yes.
All right.
From Dr. Metal, giving it up to Eugene Schneider, the science guy. That's a ripoff of Bill Nye, the science guy. He's got his own thing, and I can totally see where you and him would connect. Dude, that is amazing. I wonder if the future guests are like pressured into bringing some weird contraption on.
I don't know.
I don't think they can top that. That would be hard. But horns up for that dude. Wow. I thought you thought I would throw questions at you unexpectedly, but that was super unexpected on my end. So
good. I'm glad. It was funny to hear your intro, because this morning was like the first time we kind of hang out one on one.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to tonight.
Awesome, dude. I'm so glad to hear that.
Doing a long night. We'll see.
Yeah, guys. So this is my good friend Eugene. We've known each other for like a long, long time. I think over 10 years, right?
Possibly, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
and keeping in touch on and off, but still like keeping in touch. When you keep in touch, I just feel like, hey, oh yeah, it's like I saw you yesterday kind of thing. We're just so friendly with each other, and then I just dropped the idea, hey, want to be on my stream as a guest, and you're like,
Yeah, it was a short notice,
yeah,
really
sorry
short
about that.
notice.
I know you're panicking a bit, and that's my bad. But on the same note, we'll get to this later. I think it's gonna be a really good experience for you for maybe future projects that you have coming up. So,
Yeah, definitely,
all right.
definitely.
So Eugene,
Yeah.
I'd like you to maybe give us a quick summary. Like, who are you? What's your story? What's your origin story?
Okay, yeah. So, I was born in Japan. My dad's Japanese. My mother is American, but America is um a country of immigrants. So you naturally have a lot of mixture of different people from different origins. So my grandfather is Chilean, South American.
Oh,
So yeah. Um, and so I was born in Japan and pretty much went through the Japanese educational system.
mm-hmm.
And then for my undergraduate degree, I went to the United States. But before that, when I was in high school, I spent a year in Chile,
Okay.
attending school there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to graduate school back in Japan,
Wow.
finished grad school, and um, that's kind of, and then I've been helping out with my grandmother. She's 103 now. So she needed a
Congratulations.
little, yeah, she needed a little help here and there, and I thought, well, this will be a good opportunity to get to know her better, and also get a foot back to the United States until the um, all hell broke loose with the corona pandemic and everything with the COVID-19 and
Right.
yeah, I also caught the virus myself.
You
So
did. Oh my
so
God.
yeah, so let me think. It's almost 2 years since I've been back to Japan, but this past year I will kind of write it off. Like, like recovering back to normal has been like the full-time issue, full-time job. So
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, dude. Wow.
Was that a good enough summary?
That was a great summary. We got
Okay.
like a few storylines we could pull out of there. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but let's back to, I think Naoki Sakamoto was on the stream. Naoki, thank you for being here. I'm gonna pull up his chat, and he said, "Eugene-san, konbanwa, 103 歳. Suge."
Yeah.
Okay,
103歳.
so if you guys don't understand what Naoki's saying, Naoki, nice comment. He's like, "Hello, good evening, Eugene. Your grandma's 103. Oh my God, guys!
Yeah.
Shout out for his grandma who is 103. So she's a centennial plus three.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
guys, if you're
correct.
liking that, put a heart emoji, put a 103. Hashtag live forever. Hopefully, live for over 100 in the chat there for grandma. That is amazing, dude. And
Yeah, yeah. And she's got her third shot, by the way.
she's got her
So
third shot.
so she's
Wow.
she's well ahead than us.
Oh my God. Well, she's well ahead in many ways, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you say she's in the States? Let me understand that.
So she was until things got difficult, like mobility wise, crossing borders, and so because one of her daughters, one of our relatives, is in Chile,
Hmm.
who can take care of her, they transported her to back to Chile, and she was like, I don't know, 101, 102 at that point, like catching a plane. So
Wow.
hopefully I can go visit her sometime soon again, but we'll see.
Wow, Eugene, if you're in any luck, you got her genes. That is very impressive. And Frank Luck is mirroring me there with that comment.
Yeah,
103,
yeah.
impressive. I would be happy to live to half of that. LOL.
True, true, true. Yeah,
Oh,
it's funny when you tell that story to some people. One of the funny feedback I got was, they don't make how do you say it? They don't make it as good as they used to, kind of like,
mm,
people nowadays kind of like, back then things were built really well.
mm-hmm.
So I think that was one of the funniest comments I've ever had. It's like kind of had to make me think twice, but yeah, it was funny.
That is awesome. Oh my God, love to
Hmm.
grandmas out there. 103 though. That's very impressive.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I wanted to get back to your schooling a bit, like, because it sounds like you've been
Hmm.
in,
Sure.
school, post grad, grad school. You did a master's and a PhD. Is that true?
And PhD, yeah,
So
doctorate degree.
what were your specialties? Like, what did you specialize in?
So my interests were in complexity science. Some of the key words is like chaos theory, emergence
Mm-hmm.
phenomena,
Mm-hmm.
self-organization,
Mm-hmm.
origin of life, origin of consciousness. So,
Wow.
but when you talk about like the philosophical basis, it's basically the relationship between the whole and the parts. There's like an old Greek saying that says, what is it? The wholeness is greater than the sum of the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you put things together, but when you have these like life systems or planet systems or
Mm-hmm.
social systems, they seem to offer more capabilities than when you put the parts together, and that's like
Mm-hmm.
a big mystery in science. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think anybody has come up with a theory or a solution or a formula to it. So that's like an open field that's still gaining in interest, and it's a difficult problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible a lot of people are avoiding it. There's so many approaches. It occurs in so many different fields.
Mm-hmm. Can you
Um,
give us maybe a
and
more
and
concrete
it's
example for the people who I'm following you, but I want to like kind of relate it to things that people might know.
yeah. So whenever I get a question about my research, I would ask. Um, so I'll have to answer in some sort of a context that's understandable to the listener.
Yeah.
So you being the representative of all the listeners,
Yeah.
let me. I'm trying to. What's your field that's familiar with? Actually, I haven't talked about this subject for several years.
Education, music,
Okay. Okay.
gaming, sports, some
Mm-hmm.
sports.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. So you could take music.
mhm.
Music is yeah, I don't know if this is a good example. Music, you could break it down as the sum of notes and an addition of different notes.
Mhm.
Um, but then you not only add notes to one music line, but you're going to have different parts, different instruments.
Mhm.
On top of that, you add the musician's emotional factors. Um, and then you got this thing called an orchestra or a choir,
Mhm.
which is a whole kind of experience, an overall experience, and you can't really explain that only by breaking it down to each note. I mean, yes, it is the sum of each note.
Mhm.
However, so okay, I don't want to make things more complicated, but the traditional historical scientific method
Mhm.
of this past, I would say 200 years,
Mhm.
has been reductionism, basically
Mhm.
breaking things down into smaller parts, reducing things down. So that's what we've been doing with substances. We've been,
Mhm.
trying to understand the basic molecules. Once you got to know the molecules, you can go further down into breaking it down to atoms.
Mhm.
We and then with using these uh, cyclotrons that throw atoms, collide atoms close to the speed of light.
Mhm.
You're gonna start see the nucleus, the electrons around it. The nucleus is made of the different quarks.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we're speaking in terms of physics now. Um, okay, we can see what the substance is made of, but then you're kind of going far away from, okay, well, how does that get to consciousness? How does that get to like social phenomena? How could you explain? You can't really explain the experience of listening to live music with improvisation, expression of individual artistic senses,
Mhm.
from these quarks and nucleus. So there really isn't a theory that could explain, well, what is a musical experience? What is improvisation? How does a improvisation fit in with the big picture of the larger music or the context? So the context is like the background and the big picture. How does it all come together? Why does our consciousness know to put it together to make it sound pleasing or to make it
Mm,
appear cool? Our gaming experiences, like what intrigues us into it and what gets us hooked. So there's a lot of psychological parts to it, which cannot be explained by the approach of reductionism,
mm-hmm.
which helped us understand what substances are made of, like quartz and stuff. So there's a gap there. Yeah. And it's a big mystery. And I think that question kind of occurs a lot. It happens in biology, it
Mm-hmm.
happens in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder in like I think I follow you. And Frank
Hmm. Hmm.
on the stream is saying this subject seriously intrigues me. Yes, Frank is also a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
deep thinker, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean I love science too. I'm a geek, and the maxim I've heard is like the more we understand, the more questions come up. It's like
Yeah.
maybe
Hmm.
that's a very simplified form of that, but it's like the deeper we
Hmm.
get and the more we break things down, there's actually more and more mystery that
Hmm.
they say like, oh yeah, quarks are the smallest particle that we're ever gonna find. I'm like, really? Can you say that with and I think there's ways to explain why we can say that, but then there's so many things we can't explain yet, and we're just trying to
Hmm. Hmm.
theorize and stuff. Mm.
I'm gonna say something that I don't think I've never heard other people say, and something that's like dead obvious, but also profound at the same time, and that is we only know what we know. Like,
Mm.
science doesn't have all the answers. I don't mean to counter what you say.
Mm-hmm.
What you said is like the more we know, the more questions we have. I mean, that's a good thing because you're open to, learning more new stuff. But some people can get overly confident about science,
Mm-hmm.
but what science knows is only what we already know. Or the thing is, the science we've been solving has been pretty much science that could be solved. And there's so much other sciences that cannot be solved because
Mm-hmm.
it's too difficult. And the approaches are so tricky that okay, this is kind of a cop-out way of saying it, but
Mm-hmm.
being a scientist, yeah, you have to ask the big questions, but it's also a career. You need to be able to write papers by finding, asking questions and finding some solid questions to keep your job, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
really important to stay alive and support your family.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of in a way a separation there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, my slight warning is that people could get overly confident and take, this is a scientist saying it, overly confident with science. But I think once you are like get your head deep into science, you are humbled. You're humbled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let me, I don't mean to take time or go off on a tangent, but
Okay.
being on the cutting edge of science is a scary experience because you're at the horizon of knowledge and what's in front of you is an unknown. It's like looking down from a very high cliff, like down into the ocean, where the ocean meets the land territory, it's like looking down at that. It's like, oh my goodness, we don't know this. Like
Right.
I thought the nature was well known, but like, and so the career of science is about, or career of a scientist is about kind of, padding your way, trying to extend a little bit of that, solid territory so that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to do that, you kind of have to make assumptions. Okay, I mean, you can't solve a problem by saying, okay, you don't know anything and everything is changing. Like you have to assume, okay, we know this, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what we know, what can we, based on basing that these assumptions are true,
Right.
what else new can we say? Kind of that's kind of the cycle, the science development cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, again, I'm not a big science head nerd or thing. I'm really
Hmm.
into like
Hmm.
pop science and stuff. But I think I've heard that you said like some people are overconfident. Like yes, no, the atomic model. That's it. That's a definitive thing. But then recently, it's been refuted, and it's because we able to prove different things based on what we know, and what we know
Hmm.
sometimes we know more, and then it disproves other theories that we thought we knew, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but getting back to the chat here, Con made a really funny comment. He's saying, "Dang, I thought the technical streams like about technology were over my head." Yeah, Con. This one is we're really going deep into the rabbit hole on this one.
Yeah.
Eugene
And
with our
it's
guide.
funny, this morning I was just telling you I don't know enough about anything to talk about,
Yeah,
but yeah. Yeah,
um,
you kind of got me started in
yeah,
that.
it's all good. It's all good. But
Hmm. Hmm.
Con throwing it back to your grandma, saying Centennial 103 sounds like a species. She is definitely
Yeah.
living long and prospering though, so that's good. I
Mm-hmm.
get the
Thanks
Star
for
Trek
the
reference.
hearts, Con.
Yeah, nice one on that. Well, okay. I opened up that can of worms that I assumed was a can of worms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all good, Eugene. So we know that your background is. I'm also interested in the fact that what you're kind of, can I say, bicultural? Do you have a better way to say that since you have one parent from this country and one parent from another?
Yeah, yeah. Since it's it's technically correct to say bicultural.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's also another term called third cultural kid.
Hmm.
Like a general, and there's a book about it, and I can't remember what the exact definition was based on that,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be that your parents are two different nationalities or from cultural backgrounds, and then you all live in a third country, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if you say it in a nice positive way, a child brought up in that environment would is able to appreciate both the father's culture, the mother's culture, and then kind of the environment that you grow up in.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. But I would definitely say I was a minority, even as simple as the appearance growing up in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I mean, I feel like I'm a minority no matter where I go. Like the thing is, the most comfortable people I'm around with is my siblings because, obviously they grew up under the same roof. So, we know about our parents. We kind of shared similar experiences um as a like a third cultural kid or a hahu, like half, quote unquote half, because
Right.
you kind of it's assumed one half is, or basically you're half um Japanese.
Half Japanese, half
Um,
something else,
so
right?
so
It's usually
that's, yeah,
term.
yeah. I think in Hawaii they call it hapa. I
Hapa,
don't know. I don't
yes,
know.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, hapa.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. Is in Philippines is there a term like
we
that,
have
or
a term
are
I think
they
mestizo,
conscious about?
mestizo or mestiza, depending if you're male or female.
I may have heard of that term, like
Yeah,
from South America, maybe.
yeah. I think it's a Latin term, definitely. So
Latin
that means
term,
kind of
yeah.
mixed, I guess, mixed race, or maybe it
Hmm.
means I don't
Hmm.
know if it means exactly half, but yeah, it means like I guess part Spanish, part something else,
Hmm.
part Latin,
Hmm.
part something
Hmm.
else. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, it's interesting. Now I want to again kind of dive into that a little bit deeper. Josh did confirm. He said, yeah, happa
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what they
Fire
call
the
it.
questions. Hapa. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The funny thing is there's an izakaya in Vancouver on Robson Street, and it's called Happazushi or Happa Izakaya. Frank, maybe you let me know. And I always wondered if that happa, I thought it happa because happa with an HAPA could mean leaf, right? Happa, leaf.
Hmm.
But then
Hmm. Hmm.
happa might be a more colloquial version of half. And I'm wondering if the people who are running that izakaya are Japanese Canadian, and maybe they're feeling that kind of happa vibe, or maybe again it's playing on the Japanese. I have no
Hmm.
idea.
Hmm.
People in
Hmm.
Vancouver, like Frank, maybe if you know more about that name, or maybe you didn't know that, but
Hmm.
like I had a few coworkers here in Japan who are very similar. They were hafu, right? Half Japanese, half something else. And
Mm-hmm.
I hung out with them, and they used to say, like, there's this kind of weird identity dilemma that they would sometimes have growing up. They don't know. One of them didn't know which country to mostly associate with, and she, like you said earlier, like kind of feel like most comfortable with other, like your siblings, other people who are in the same
Similar,
boat.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then she said growing up too, it's funny because like she went to an international school where there are a lot of other halves and international kids growing up, and they would be learning English and Japanese at the same time, and then they would come up with their own kind of mixed version of Japanese
Mm-hmm.
English. I guess I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Jinglish. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you call it. But did you have that linguistic thing growing up where you would sometimes start with Japanese and break into English and then maybe finish off with Japanese? I wonder.
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely requires more energy to continuously speak in the same language, like whether it's only in English or only Japanese, because I think the most natural thing is to speak whatever word that comes to your mind first, regardless of the language.
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody on YouTube talking about their experience, I think, and she was trying to think and explain. She came to a similar kind of a conclusion, but I think that's what I mean, so then it kind of goes back to your consciousness, your thinking process, and the language themselves. I mean, those two definitely come hand in hand. And so some people say, I think a lot of listeners have already some interests or understanding about the Japanese language and culture and dialects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people get amazed that I could flip back and forth between English and Japanese, but to me, it's no different from just flipping back and forth between the local dialect, like the Kansai Ben or Osaka Ben,
Mm-hmm.
and the proper polite, more polite the Japanese business kind of language.
Mm-hmm.
It basically you just choose different words. Um, it might be get a little more complicated because the Japanese grammar, Japanese and English grammar is a little different with the word orders. But other than that, it's the kind of the sense isn't too much different, I think.
That's a really good way of putting it, and I will. I'm
Hmm.
not. How can I say? I'm more fluent in Kansai Ben in that sense. If I go to Tokyo,
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
do my
Hmm.
best to speak in Hyojungo or the Tokyo dialect, and I'll break down
Hmm.
it after about
Hmm.
30 minutes, and I'll revert back to Kansai Ben. But I think some more
Hmm.
people are
Hmm.
more fluent or able to flip flop
Hmm.
than
Hmm.
others.
Or not even to the extent of the Japanese politeness and the casual language, but like depending on whether you're speaking to your coworker, your colleague, or your family member, or your significant other,
Hmm.
the way you speak is going to be different, and that's pretty much all we're doing, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. Do you know any Filipino?
Any
Tagalog?
Yeah, Tagalog. No, this is an interesting question. So my origin story
Mm-hmm.
to lead into this is I was born in the Philippines, but I moved there when I was a baby. So until about 4 or 5 years old, I heard that from my parents that I could still speak Tagalog, but I went to school in Canada right from a very young age, so I had to learn English. English became
Mm,
my main
mm,
language
mm,
right away, basically, and kind of forgot a lot of my Tagalog. It's
mm,
it's weird. There's a lot of people in a similar situation to me. They go to Canada or go to a different non-Tagalog speaking country. I think Philippines is the only, and then we kind of lose it. But the parents still speak to us in Tagalog at home, so I can understand more than I can speak back. So it's so weird because my
can you?
parents would speak in Tagalog. Of course, they can speak English too, but they'll speak in Tagalog sometimes, and I'll reply in English. It's the weirdest thing.
Mhm.
So
So you understand words,
I
kind of.
would
You can pick up words
I can pick up words. I can pick up
like an
phrases.
apple, water, milk.
Yeah, cuss words. you know,
Yeah,
parents usually
yeah,
speak
yeah.
their native tongue when they're mad. But I never put in the time and work to go to to Tagalog school, Filipino school to learn to
Hmm.
read and write. So it's very, very, very basic and still loopholes. When I go to a Filipino party, for example, my relatives who are speaking all in Tagalog would suddenly see me walk by and they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, Lito. Oh, okay, okay, we talk in English," and then they speak in English for me. So it's
Mm,
kind of that kind of situation I've been raised in. So it's really weird. Like I can't say that I am bilingual in that sense. I think I know way more Japanese and even French to a certain degree, learning it
Okay.
in Canada. But I had another quick question. Then we'll get to the chat because people were
Okay.
commenting about
Okay.
happa.
Okay.
My question was
Okay.
this. So I know you kind of when you were growing up, how was it? Well, how was the language dealt with? So did you have your parents speak to you in English? Is that where you learned it, or yeah?
Basically, less, yes, communicating, basic parenting kind of, your expressing your needs kind of as a child. But so what really made me nervous was when I got to grade school, people would come up to me and ask me to read something because it was written in English,
Mm-hmm.
not to challenge me, but they was just curious. They wanted to understand, and I couldn't just because I hadn't learned much about reading and writing. So my reading and writing skills, although my parents did try to teach me, it it really got reinforced, or I got the training when I got to junior high school through the regular English
Mm-hmm.
classes. Yeah, for my case.
Okay, interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I wonder if I don't know if you can even remember if you were at a very young age and you were, I guess, you learned Japanese at first. I wonder because you were going to school from a young age. I'm not sure. You
Well,
picked up
when
the
you
English
take the
later.
term mother tongue,
Mm.
like in my case, my mother is American. She
Okay.
was born in New York, so it was in English. My parents both being English, yeah, English language teachers,
Oh.
they communicated at home in English, probably more for our sake. The other interesting thing that my mother told me several years ago is that back then when she arrived in the 1970s, she was told it wasn't really necessary to learn the Japanese language. That
Mm.
you can get by. She's really impressed with the younger generation nowadays, who arrive here quite fluent. But I think
Mm.
that could also be the difference of time because there's a lot more pop culture being exported and more learning opportunities.
That's true.
With YouTube, it's free. You can, listen to anime or and whatnot, or Netflix whatever to watch anime. So I think there is a uh, difference in resources as well, which does reflect the time that they were living. Although my mother did take karate lessons, so that's kind of physical way to communicate before she arrived to Japan.
Very cool. I like that
Yeah, in New York.
entry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually great. Yeah, I think a lot of people
hmm
come to Japan because they've studied martial arts or want to
True,
study
true.
here
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've met people when I was in college, people who like studied, who was studying like jujutsu and ninjutsu and yeah, that all that kind of stuff. And like even I haven't met anybody in Japan, Japanese people who train in jujutsu. Maybe if you go to was that Koga or Iga where they have like ninja museums. I know there are people there, but anyway.
That's a really interesting topic. Maybe for another stream. And I actually have a guest who wanted to talk about the fact that the traditional Japanese arts, whether it's Budo, like karate or jujitsu or martial arts, or other
hmm
things like ikebana and koto, are not being picked up as much by Japanese people. It's actually a lot of foreigners who are seem to be picking it
hmm
up. So yeah,
hmm
Popelier, if you're listening, I still got you in my head. He's the one who brought that topic up, and he said that might be an interesting topic. So thank you for kind of addressing that. We're gonna go to the
hmm
chat real quick because these people are very
Yeah,
patient
yeah, fire
with their
away.
things. Taylor said yes, it is happa, the word happa, and Frank's like yes, it's called happa izakaya, that izakaya in Vancouver on Robson
Canada,
Street
Vancouver.
in Canada. Um, Maybe I spelt it wrong. Happa for mixed Japanese, happa for maple leaf, maybe in Canada, maybe. But Khan's like no man, it's happa leaf, also slang for Mara Jane. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Khan, for the insight there. Thank you for giving us the lowdown on the slang. Um, I don't know if this is related to your linguistic experience, but I'm in an international marriage. My wife Chica is still learning English, but improving a lot. And she's getting to the point where she went from beginner to like more intermediate now. And what's interesting is her mind is changing.
Congratulations.
Yeah, her way of
Okay, that's
thinking is
important.
changing. Right.
Oh, like culturally wise, or are you talking of the development of an English brain, like a second language brain?
I think both. I mean, the influence of me in her life is opening her up to more Western values. And Chikakuru,
Hmm.
okay, my wife just it's very rare when she doesn't comment other things than alcohol. So I can't read that. Is that Demon Slayer? I can't read that. What is that? That's a famous anime.
Jujutsu, what is it? How do you read that?
Ah,
Kaisen?
Jujutsu Kaisen. Ah, yes. So the famous
Is
anime
that correct?
using Jujutsu.
Is
Uh,
it?
Chica, let us know if it's Jujutsu Kaisen. But Chica is at that point where she's developing that English brain, but she's the point where she'll say it in Japanese first and then soon in English. So she'll be like gomen, sorry. Like she'll have
Okay, that's good. That's
both
good.
both
Yeah.
words in her head and it'll
So
come out in
practice.
it's like a knee jerk reaction almost. It's like, oh, I said it in Japanese, no, I have to say it in English. No. So things like that, which I think are interesting, and I thought like people who are
Hmm.
starting to develop a different mind in a different language
Hmm.
start to kind
Hmm.
of mix
Hmm.
the two a little bit here and
Hmm.
there. It's so funny, but great at the same time. Um, okay, cool, dude. Thank you for doing that. And Khan's like going back to the hoppa, peace, dude, and peace sign there.
Okay, maybe about Mary Jane.
Yeah, maybe.
That's funny.
Definitely, I think. Chica Cruz is saying Shinobi,
Shinobi. Okay.
Shinobi, Kaisen, Shinobi Kaisen.
No.
Interesting. Well, yes, we're gonna get into that topic. Um, Wanted to talk about your getting coronavirus. And you said you're okay to
Okay.
talk about that, and you mentioned that in your intro.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
us know
really
about that.
important.
Mm-hmm.
So it's undetermined where I got it. Although it is a fact that my colleague had cold-ish symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
um, before I started getting cold-ish symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And and that was a year ago. I mean, I can
Mm-hmm.
almost go into dates. It seems like time kind of stopped since then just because of, what I've been through, I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so let me think. I don't want to bore you with the details of every step of the way. I'll try to summarize it, but pretty much the symptoms for my case, that's the thing. Like every person's experience is different, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like in my case, my symptoms changed every 3 days. And so, and then I would never have thought that I had it. So like I said cold-ish symptoms, but it was certainly slightly different. But you would never have imagined that you would have caught it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then and then once my fever went down, I went to the clinic and he said, "You had what?" And he's like, "Okay, you probably shouldn't be in this clinic, so please step outside." And then
Wow.
there was a park right across the street. And then so I was waiting there, and then a nurse came out, like fully protected with goggles, shield, and like the whole full bodysuit and everything. And he's like, "Okay, here's the kit. There are instructions in there. Um, call us when you're done." And so it's like I don't know, Mission Impossible or
Yeah, it
something.
sounds
Okay,
like it.
yeah, this is your mission. It will self-destruct kind of. So this
Oh.
yeah, this was back, yeah, almost a year ago, back early mid-October, end of October it was,
Okay.
last year. And then so I followed the instruction, this did this and that, spit into the tube, and then I called, okay, I'm ready, and then this lady came out again, the nurse came out again, and then and that was pretty much it. You're like, okay, we'll call you when we get the results. And I'm like, okay, bye. So I'm heading home, looking back, and the nurse is kind of taking her things off outside of the clinic, and I'm like, oh man. So I mean,
Mm.
so there's so much loneliness associated with this illness because you can't
Mm-hmm.
really talk about it to your neighbors because then I mean, you never know. Even during the first curfew in Japan, people would attack others coming from out of state or out
Mm-hmm.
of prefecture just
Mm-hmm.
during the state of emergency because you were not supposed to cross borders of each prefecture.
Right.
They used to call them like jishuku keisatsu or something like that. Like
Jishuku keisatsu, like vigilantes.
pretty, yeah, oh yeah, totally. I mean, you would hear of
What?
people scratching cars parked at like highway service areas, parking areas, scratching cars that came from out of state. I mean, it was that nasty.
Oh my god, dude. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So yeah, I would. So like I know I think my sister decided not to travel back to Osaka during that time from Tokyo. Me and my girlfriend's family, we decided not to make a road trip because of that, even if
Mm-hmm.
we, yeah, even if we rented a car.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, vigilantes, that's a very good term to describe what was going on. So anyway, so you couldn't tell your neighbors. You could only like warn and tell them to be careful that, it's real and it could, get you sick. To those that's trusted, trusting that they won't really make a big deal. Like I had one of my close like junior high school friend who came visit me,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, 2 or 3 months after I recovered. And once I told him, he started getting nervous and like started like gradually sliding away from me from the couch. And I'm like, no, you're only
Really?
contagious like 2 weeks after get the virus. But he's like, he was freaking out.
Mm, I think
Yeah.
that's a gut reaction for people just to. I think it's out of natural shock. I'm sure. I hope he didn't mean anything personal by that. I can see
No, no,
people
no,
getting
yeah.
offended, but like to be very honest, when I didn't hear about this until I talked to you, or you sent me some notes. That's right before we were talking, and I saw that line.
This
I was
morning.
yeah, I saw that line, and I will be honest. I saw. I was oh, you did like wow. I've never talked
Hmm.
to anyone who's actually talked in person to anyone who's got it. So this
Not neither have I.
now that's crazy. This makes it really real for
Yeah.
me. You see things on
Hmm.
the news.
Hmm.
I hear of friends or friends' relatives getting it. I've never actually talked
Hmm.
to someone in
Hmm.
person. So you're the first person, and it's funny
Hmm.
that you say, yeah, neither have I. um,
Yeah, seriously. Like you
mm,
obviously know if your family member got it.
mm.
Yeah, but like so I mean, yeah, I guess that would be lie because I think I knew who I got it from.
Mm.
Okay, so kind of going back to my illness, I got tested, I was positive. I just said that it was a lonely disease because like, you have to keep distance from everybody.
Mm.
Um, Even the doctor hates you for coming to their clinic.
I know, right?
I mean, the best they could say, whenever you have questions about the illness or about the symptoms, the best they could say is they don't know. And they don't know in the long term. Just because it's a new virus and, people simply don't know about it.
It's true.
Um, yeah, and then so even though my colleague said he had such symptoms like oddness of taste and smell and
Mm-hmm.
fatigueness and sore
Mm-hmm.
throat,
Mm-hmm.
he tested. So I was my fever was down in Japan back then. The quarantine time was like 2 weeks after you started getting tests,
Mm-hmm.
and no, you can be released from quarantine 2 weeks after you started getting the illness, and then
Mm-hmm.
5 days after your fever went down. And I got tested positive like 3 days after my fever went down.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I was quarantined at a hotel, I would have had I would be have been released like the following day. So the Hokensho, the health office said, okay, yeah, there's more trouble moving you into town and out and getting the room ready and moving me in, and then kind of releasing me free the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the doctor at that office told me just to stay put at home.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my colleague, he tested like a few days after I tested. So he started getting sick before I did, but then
Mm-hmm.
he tested after so his result came out negative, which kind of
Oh.
made things a lot more complicated. So like, I can't blame anybody or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this famous actress in Japan, Ayase Haruka, she tested negative like 3 times, 2 or 3 times until like she developed pneumonia. And then she finally tested positive and she was hospitalized. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if she's out of the hospital by now. But I mean, that's how, the PCR tests could be unreliable sometimes.
Right.
So anyway, so that's my source.
Thank you for sharing that. Like again, you're
Yeah.
hearing it from someone like that. I know you, and now the whole
Hmm.
stream knows you, right? Like you're a real person. And you're
Yeah.
talking about this, so that makes
Uh-huh.
it
Uh-huh.
really, really real for us. So thank you for
Yeah.
being able to talk about that. Now, I
But
think a lot of.
I'm
Oh,
not done
sorry.
with the main story though. Do you
Okay.
want to change the subject or do you want me to quickly summarize?
No, not at all. I actually wanted to ask something about the story. So, like, I was just
Okay, yeah,
saying,
go ahead. Go ahead.
from my point of view, and I think more people now who have gotten the vaccine have felt symptoms, COVID-like symptoms, I guess, especially after the
Mm-hmm,
second one.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
For most
mm-hmm,
vaccines, me and my wife both got Moderna, and we got basically the pattern we had, and a lot of people get is they're fine the first day, the second day they're like out on the sofa,
yeah.
can't move for like the whole day,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
fever,
mm-hmm,
maybe highish fever, and then they start to recover after that. That's kind of like what happens with
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
the shot. Now I'm wondering, you said you had cold-ish feelings. It sounds like you had a fever. How did you feel? Because you're right, everyone is a bit different. I'm just wondering how you felt.
When I was sick, so
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, I was kind of looking back at those notes a few weeks ago. Um, I started getting mild fever, but then the fever went down once,
Mm-hmm.
down to regular, like, what is it, what's normal
30,
fever?
36-ish, 36.5. I don't know. Yeah.
In Celsius, but in Fahrenheit, what is it, 98? Is that
Yeah, I
healthy?
think so.
Normal
Think like that. Yeah.
97?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it went down. So I didn't think much big deal about it. I think my tastes started getting odd like on the latter half, but then I didn't lose it completely. Like you don't know the subtle flavor differences of the food, but I could still taste sweetness, spiciness, saltiness, sourness, and bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why during that time I was like I might have finished like a whole bottle of Tabasco sauce. I was eating curry rice, really
Flavorful things.
spicy stuff
Yeah, yeah.
just so I could feel. But it's not like it's gone completely like
Mm-hmm.
people would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still could taste the bitterness of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it seemed a little different. But in retrospect, yeah, it was weaker. I mean, in retrospect, now that I know that I tested positive, I could say, okay, I see that's kind of my experience about the taste buds and the smell,
Mm-hmm.
taste and the smell experience. And then the second wave of fever came, and that had chills with it, and it went
Mm-hmm.
up to like close to 39 degrees, which is what like 103, 104
Yeah, that's pretty
Fahrenheit.
high. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like cramps. I started getting
Oh.
cramps. Yeah, and then fatigueness. So what was weird about the fever, I've never experienced this with a regular cold. Normally when you get high fever, you just don't want to move around. You just kind of sick in bed, you're tired, you don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
My experience, even in spite of having high fever, I could move around fine. Like,
Mm.
getting something to eat, using the bathroom. So it's like, okay, my body's burdened in a fever way, like as far as the number on the thermometer is concerned, but I could still be active. So there's like a disconnect compared to a regular cold, like the disconnect between the fatigue experience and the fever. It was like fever was its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I could still do, and plus like I had to keep working this time because there was like a work deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So like I couldn't just be lying on the bed the whole time. Like
Wow.
whenever I could do work, I had to be on the computer writing up a report.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah. So that was the fever experience. Then the cramps, and then just the fatigue, like unknown fatigue, kind of. That
Mm.
that's yeah, that's kind of what I can remember.
I think again with my second vaccination, the day after the fever and chills, I really felt like I had a flu, really bad flu,
Yeah,
because I couldn't
yeah.
move. I couldn't
Hmm.
move at all. But the next day, I just felt tired, like really, or have some energy and then get just really tired really easily, really
Hmm.
quickly.
Hmm.
Is that the type
Hmm.
of fatigue
Hmm.
that you're talking about, or is it a different
No, I think that's right. In Japanese, they call it kentaikan, which I don't know,
kentaikan?
at least unless you're in the medical field, you've never heard of that word, but it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much basically fatigue or
Mm-hmm.
being tired, sense of
Lethargy.
being
Maybe it's
tired.
called lethargy in English. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sounds right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So interesting. Um,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna just do a call to action. So this is where I ask the chat something while we keep
Yeah,
talking,
go
and maybe we
ahead.
can. So the call to action is, guys. Guys. By the way, if you're finding this interesting, you're talking to someone who actually had it. Like he's a friend of mine. He's a real person. Okay, I met him this morning. This is not made up or anything. And hit a like, just like
This
or
is CNN.
give us some comment. Yeah, CNN reporting from Osaka, the heart of it. Um, no,
Yeah,
but like I've heard of
Corona
friends,
survivor.
yeah, friends and relatives getting it, and you guys let me know in the chat. Do you know anyone who has had it? Have you had it yourself? I know a few other people in Cons. I haven't met them in person, but on Facebook and stuff, I've heard that they've gotten it. Cons given a comment. He's like, "Hey Eugene, this is a bit off topic, but you've talked about
Hmm.
working a few times, like working through a COVID fever. What do you actually do for a living, if you don't mind?" Okay, so
Good,
that's his
good
question.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to give you a quick answer, I'm, so I haven't really told you the good part about catching COVID, but that's kind
Is
of
it?
related to the answer.
Oh.
So I'm trying to get back to the labor market. Basically, I'm looking for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I teach, so I do technical translation, like translating manuals, like corporate instructions for the global corporation, global branches. I do technical translation. I teach um, English, like speaking English. I'm teaching this engineer who needs to pass a test. So I teaching English is something I could do. Doing
Mm-hmm.
research, programming with my physics background or computer science background. So but I'm kind of getting desperate to get back into the labor market after having a what's a whole year of not sabbatical. What's
Like
the
a
word?
hiatus. Hiatus.
Hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Oh, so it's
So
been a
that's
year.
what's going on.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
Um.
Well, not exactly. It's almost a year since I caught the pandemic, but
Mhm.
I mean the corona, COVID. And then there was yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the technical translation started kicking up from there on, something that I'd registered. So that
Okay.
comes now and then, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool. And and it's
Hmm.
okay if it's not related to that, but I'm just wondering, is the job situation, because my job had been affected by COVID. I'm wondering, is yours COVID related too or not?
Good question, because last year, towards the end of the year, the translation job was coming in pretty steadily. But then once the emergency, de state of emergency was declared
Mm-hmm.
earlier this year, I think maybe it was in the spring, the request for translation really dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the translation job was related to the pandemic. Like I did a translation for one of the major travel agencies in Japan, and they were saying, okay, we need to do a corporate restructuring. We can't be held back by old way of tourism. We need to incorporate like virtual tourism, both customer satisfaction on the sending off side and not only the receiving side, but also the sending off side, and
Mm-hmm.
then like the post traveling experience satisfaction kind of. Um, so 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 a lot of the translation, even in the technical field and naturally in the business field, were related to the pandemic, but at the same time, the number of translation has also dropped as well. So I don't know. I don't know if that was the company choice, just because I'm a subcontractor,
I see.
or if it just reflected the whole economy. I don't know, but I mean that's one experience that I had.
Okay. Well, thank you very much
Hmm.
for sharing that info. And I think a
Hmm. Hmm.
lot of people have been affected by this, right? Mostly
Yeah.
badly, some positively, actually, interestingly enough. But Khan says thanks, man, and horns up from the metal doctor himself. And I was just gonna go to Mr. Matt Empire is here in the house. He's like, yeah, I know he's joking, but he's like, hey, that guy, he does look suspect to me. I don't know if I can
Oh,
trust
I
this
don't
guy.
blame you. I agree.
Awesome, awesome. But then he comes back and Matt says, I know a few people in Kansai who have had it. Some people twice. Well, that's an interesting point you make there, Matt. And I had a friend
Yeah,
younger than
true.
me who had more difficulty breathing for a few months, and a friend's grandmother
Uh,
passed away because of it. That's really unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm really sorry. I mean, it's really difficult because when you die, pass away from this illness, like you can't even, have a decent departure. It's really
Mm,
cruel. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think he speaks to that when he says his next comment. He says back when they wouldn't let family in to see her, right? So my first few
Oh, that's
connections with
difficult.
COVID, yeah, it's so hard. I can't imagine that.
It
This is
is.
like crazy times, right? So, um, just to continue on what he said. So my
Yeah,
first few connections with COVID were pretty bad. So I've been super cautious because of that. Matt, I can totally understand, and I think we had that
yeah,
actually
you should be.
conversation earlier
Yeah,
too.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, you don't want to take any chances, seriously. It's like when you don't catch it, you might think it's okay. Or, I mean, I would hear in the news, like people would interview people. I mean, the news media would interview people in their 20s in Tokyo, and they're or even in downtown Kyoto, during the state of emergency, and they were like, "Yeah, when I catch it, I'll deal with it then." And it's like, no, you don't want to catch it to begin with. It's not a risk you want to take. I mean, there are constructive risks you could take in life, and this is something not. It's not a constructive thing because it's not only about you, but you could also spread it, to other people.
Yeah, we've had numerous conversations with different friends about this, and I think everyone has like their own opinion, of course, and it's really interesting hearing it coming from you, who's had it. But the crazy thing is,
Hmm.
like, yeah, Matt says true. Some people have had it twice, so just because you get it once doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're completely home free. Um,
And
Another
same thing
thing.
with a
Mhm,
vaccine, even
mhm,
if you develop, I mean, so then people would say give that as a reason not to get vaccinated, but it's not really about the vaccine, it's about your immune system.
mhm,
I mean, once you get vaccinated, you'll be people say I think the symptoms will be lighter. Of course, because you trained your immune system.
mhm,
Um, and and that doesn't mean your immune system. See, it's not about the vaccine, it's about your immune system that could
mhm.
whether it could overcome the virus.
Right.
Because if the virus replicates faster than your immune system catch up, naturally you're going to be in bad shape.
Mhm.
So, I mean, every preparation you could do, you want to do it. Yeah,
Okay. I mean, I follow this
if you
doc.
can do it
Yeah, exactly. I've been taking
health
vitamin
wise.
D as much as possible. I heard vitamin D is really good for you. I'm really
Yeah,
dark now just from all
keeping
the
your
YouTube live streams and stuff. But there is this doctor
yeah,
called
keeping your
Doctor,
immune system up.
yeah, Doctor John, I think. He's a YouTuber, but he said like there's an interesting point because we haven't got herd immunity, which is like the majority of the population getting it, so that it doesn't circulate as much. And he said
Yeah, I wouldn't count on
yeah, yeah, and he
it.
said the same
Sorry.
thing, right? Like we're kind of past that point, and he said at some point, probably everyone in the world is gonna catch it at one point. But I
Hmm.
still doesn't,
Hmm.
still don't think it means you shouldn't, protect yourself as much as you can from it. I'm gonna go back
Hmm.
to the chat a bit. There's some really interesting comments here. Matt Empire is going again. He says it's also not about them. I think that frustrated me the most. Some of his friends supposedly caught it twice. The people who said
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
are not the most researched. So that's what his comments on those people. And I think that's what Matt. I think Matt. I read that that's not about. That's also not about just them, like the people around you, but it's also protecting yourself. Is that how I'm supposed to take that? Um, but I think Eugene kind of. You said, yeah, just kind of take care of yourself, as much as you can. Now, Con is responding to me, and he's saying, and to answer your question, Lito, I don't know anybody who has had COVID, but my brother and my wife had cancer and survived. He goes on to say, my father-in-law, my uncle, and my aunt had cancer and died. I'm so sorry to hear that. So cancer hits close to home for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's must be a difficult time for the person and the family.
hmm All these diseases are terrible. For me, what hits home is cancer with my grandma and diabetes with my dad.
Hmm. Hmm.
He
Oh, okay. Is that how he passed?
Yeah, diabetes is not what kills you. It's all the other stuff that starts to break down. Like he lost his vision
Hmm.
and lost mobility, and
Ah,
so kills
yeah,
you.
right, true.
hmm
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. So Matt is kind of elaborating a bit more. He says people saying they were fine catching it frustrated me because it's not an individual issue. It's a society level situation. Yes, I see what you're saying
Hmm.
now, Matt. Thank
Hmm.
you for clarifying. And I agree. I mean, a lot of people need to think more about, like you said, like even if you get vaccinated, I think you were saying something like that, Eugene. Even if you get vaccinated, like you're out of danger of having more major life-threatening disease. I think for the most.
Hmm.
Who
Hmm.
knows with
Hmm.
the new variants now too? Like, cause like vaccines are not as effective against them, it seems. But you
Hmm.
can still be carrying the virus and spreading it, is what I heard as well, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we got off to
Yeah, yeah,
watch
you,
out.
you could be a carrier. You could be an asymptomatic carrier.
Yeah,
And that's what again makes it really difficult.
you can be a Trojan
Yeah.
horse, basically.
It's yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna repeat myself, but it's a risk that I mean, you do roll a lot of dice in life, but this is not something you want to roll.
Mm,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
You say that really, profoundly, especially because a lot of us are geeks and we know rolling dice. But like I know what you're saying though. It's not a
Hmm.
chance you want to
Hmm.
take, right?
No,
So
no. There's a lot more fun chances you can take. More constructive ones. I mean, not destructive for yourself or for others.
I want to go back to a comment that you told me earlier today. Is like
Hmm.
even after getting COVID, there were long-term effects of it. Could you speak a little bit about
Yeah.
that?
Oh, totally. I mean, that's the worst part because being sick, I was done in 2 weeks. And I say it so easily, but this was definitely different from a regular cold. With a regular cold or even flu, you're sick for let's say average of 2 weeks, and then your body starts recovering. Your body knows where to go back to your healthy state, and then you can go out do physical exercise. Um, no, okay, nausea is the other thing. Like, I don't want me to like make you sick from drinking your morning coffee or anything, but
Right.
um, nausea, dizziness. So, and these subtle symptoms took forever. No, I mean, and it's like mentally, I'm so ready to like get back on my bike, go back swimming again, go for a jog, you know, do, you really kick-ass job, doing work. You're so eager to get back to normal life, but your body simply doesn't let you do that. It's like, y- okay, to give you an analogy, and I, I don't know. I won't know the answer for the next another 40, 50 years, but my body was acting like an 80-year-old. So we're talking about fatigue. You were talking about fatigue, Lito.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like you would do the simple when you're going through this, you know, it could be the symptoms from the vaccine, after, yeah, or side effects from the vaccine. Um, you won't be doing anything but you feel tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're alive and you're tired. I mean, that's how it is. So
Mm.
what I felt like I was 80 years old, when I'm sick, just because like I would walk for 10 minutes and I'll be exhausted. I just want to come home. And like
Wow.
I'm kind of at the peak of my life, and this shouldn't be happening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um and so so there was fatigueness. Like, I enjoy watching the news, and I would fall asleep in the middle of the news, which would never happen. Um, I was that tired, and and then I would walk to the closest park. I'm exhausted, and that's like the biggest exercise I could do that day. And I will
Wow.
have to come back and collapse on the bed. I mean, you know, that's like what old people do, not somebody in their, you know, 30s or 40s. And then so a month would go by like that, and then the next month you have small improvements. So
Mhm.
then now your physical um, level is at the age of 7 years old, and then 2 weeks later it's back to 60 years old. So you can
Mhm.
walk longer distance. Um, like one of the listener was saying, they were having breathing problems. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, these are something that it doesn't drag along, you know, forever. You know, once you catch a cold, you're done. You recovered. You're ready to get back, you know, into the workforce, labor
Mhm.
force. But then no, this illness, it hangs around. And so,
Mhm.
you know, I felt like I've experienced how I might be in 40, 50 years. And then kind of
Mhm.
gradually coming back to the age where I am. That's one experience that I had. It's almost like
Interesting.
there was a Brad Pitt movie. Like,
Benjamin Button.
yeah, you kind of start out with a really old person, but as the time goes on, they get younger. He gets younger and younger, and he
Right.
falls in love at his peak. But then the girl gets older, but then you know the guy
Right.
gets younger, kind of. Yeah, it was that's kind of what I experienced.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
really good way
yeah,
to actually put it because I think people have
it
seen
it
that movie.
is.
So, mm,
Yeah, and then so what happens? Oh, okay, at the end of October, I recovered from the illness, but it took forever to completely get over during the month of November.
mm,
December, it got to me psychologically. It's like,
mm,
okay, I want to recover my body and my physical body isn't cooperating. I basically had I wouldn't say a nervous breakdown, but I was getting emotionally unstable.
mm,
Yeah, and okay, another factor that I didn't talk about is brain fog. Like your concentration goes down, your thinking process goes down, your willingness to think positively
mm,
is somehow hampered. And a friend of a friend, or it could be a friend of a friend or a friend, was a university scholar. He got
mm.
COVID and he took his life. You know, being a scholar and not being able to perform well psychologically, um going through that myself, it's understandable. It could get you psychologically.
Oh my
Of
God.
course, yeah, like if you caught COVID and if you didn't get any post-COVID or long haul, if you're not a long haul, you know, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't appreciate what some people might go through. But it, man, it was such, this past year has been such an imbalance between my physical body and my mind and my heart, kind of like. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's a mess. It's a mess. It's like a human mess, like a messy entity right here, trying to figure out who 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 I was. Like, can I get back to normal? Like,
Mm,
you know, talking about people who still have breathing. Like I heard in the news about this super athletic lady who was, you know, a student athlete in university, but she could barely go around the block, and that could get you psychologically, you know, like if you're an Olympic athlete, same thing could happen.
right, right.
Yeah. So um yeah, so I haven't told you this full story about the recovering process, but that's something I wanted to stress. It could get you psychologically.
Thank you so much,
If I
Eugene.
don't, if you want to pick up any questions.
Oh yeah, I think this is a good time to do that because there
Yeah,
are a few
yeah.
comments in the chat, and we'll continue on because this is
Yeah,
fascinating and
yeah,
it's so
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so Matt Empire is doing the D&D reference. Roll a D20 for immunity +2. I hope you get that reference. And Rosewood, hello, thank you for joining the chat. I think this is my first time seeing you on the chat, so I'm gonna give you a big applause for being here. Thank you so much. And you're asking to Eugene, is Eugene a doctor? Sorry, I joined late.
Yeah, not a medical doctor,
Yeah.
but a doctor of science, engineering.
You missed the
Yeah.
big reveal of what his science is all about. We went down a really, really interesting rabbit hole there. But yes, I think I've seen shirts with that printed. I'm a doctor, but not that kind of doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Kind of makes you wonder when you ride a plane whether you should say anything.
I'm a doctor. Yes. Do you need some, um,
Somebody fell down.
philosophical help or
Don't
something?
talk to me.
Right. But there you go. Matt Emperor's like helping Rosewood explain because we were in the middle of a conversation there. Eugene caught COVID sometime. Was it end of 2020 when you got it?
Yeah, October 2020.
Okay,
Yeah.
October 2020. Yeah, so we're just discussing his experiences. So again, thank you for sharing that, and thank you Rosewood for being here, Rosewood 18. So you mentioned like it's kind of like a Benjamin Button thing. You feel so super old and you slowly get back to your true age. Is there anything else you wanted to elaborate on the recovery process?
So yeah, December was difficult. I mean, it was difficult for my parents as well. I mean, basically my, like what I have built so far, like career-wise, and I mean, this is not unique to me. Like everybody, people who have built their career, their social relationship, everything was kind of all of a sudden put to a halt or broken apart.
Hmm.
And going through COVID myself, okay, I'm sub-performing compared to what I used to be.
Hmm.
And so fortunately, so in Japan with the health system, you're encouraged to have once a year a health check. So I I haven't done that this last year, uh, that year yet. So okay, I just went through COVID. This is a good time to do it. So I went through the physical checkup, found no irregularities. I went through a brain checkup. They found no irregularities.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So that was good news, right? Nothing was permanently damaged, it seemed like. So, but then I don't know, maybe it's this, Eastern medicine. Talk to some, Chinese wise person who's taking, you know, dried deer skin powder or deer horn or I don't know, what is
Whatever.
it?
Insert
Like
insert
elephant
organ
tusk
here.
illegal. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, go back to Wuhan.
Oh.
Get some, yeah, magical animal. Yeah, I
Oh
mean, they
no.
might know. They might say, okay, they might check you know, feel your key or something and say, okay, something is wrong. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's from birth. I don't know, maybe it's something wrong with your brain. Probably it is. Um, but anyway, so Western medicine found no irregularities. But just in case on the safe side, I kept returning. Um, I kept my monthly checkup like at the brain doctor, and there wasn't really. It was more of a self-reflecting and kind of reporting. It was definitely good. One of the best things I did to have a reference point to make sure um, to check up on my progress of recovery. I mean seriously, to have a fixed reference point, just to have one person with a medical knowledge
Hmm.
saying to be able to report, okay, these symptoms are reducing, just so you're
Hmm.
not, alone in the darkness. That
Nice.
you have a lighthouse, even though it's darkness, that you have a lighthouse to check up with. It was, I think, psychologically very helpful and a wise thing to do. Um, Along with other symptoms I haven't mentioned yet is COVID has messed up with my sleep. And I'm still having difficulty with that. So
Mm.
they have been able to give me like quote unquote natural or hormone related sleeping pills. Um, and I have to take two, like one for help me fall asleep and one to keep me asleep. And apparently it's a very common, not so strong kinds, but I it's still I still feel I'm interrupted in the middle of the night. Like I would wake up, so I might up the dose a little bit
Wow.
because I did have that option. So among all the symptoms, that's still there. So there were three symptoms that kept lagging on: fatigueness, nausea, and
Hmm.
the interruption of sleep. Those are the three.
Hmm.
Um, Praise God, the nausea eventually went away. I would say around May.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the fatigueness was greatly, again, this is like really shocking to me. The fatigueness was really greatly affected by the weather. And,
Right, you mentioned that today.
yeah, like, I this is not the person I knew I was. I'm really eagerness to be engaged. I'm really curious. I'm proactive. But then, I see this dark cloud coming along, and I'm like, okay, no, I can't make it. I need to get back to sleep. I mean, okay,
Mm.
rainy day, you don't want to get out of bed, but like eventually you do. But
Right.
this what I was living through. I'm like, I can't stay awake. It's really putting me to sleep. And then so I would lie down, and I don't know, half an hour or 2 hours, I'll feel a little more refreshed. But it's like I would wonder, why am I not feeling? It's like, oh, it's the weather again.
Wow.
And yeah, so that finally, okay, let me think. Yeah, because June was a rainy season, so May things I was trying to get back physically back into shape. But then June, I was still going through that. Nausea eventually went away. I mean, it was
Mm.
in nausea. When I say when I walked 20 minutes, I started kind of, you're not throwing up anything, but you just feel
You
like,
feel like it, right?
yeah, yeah, your mouth is, you're making that noise kind of, and whenever I brush my teeth, like, when you stick something into your mouth,
Yeah, you
I would feel nausea, which is very unusual.
gag
Like
reflex kind of thing, right?
cough,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it was exaggerate, not exaggerate. It made it worse.
Mm-mm-mm.
Um, so yeah, coughing, which comes a lot with COVID symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so and a lot of that I was able to come through, except for the sleeping part,
Mm-hmm.
um, until I got my first shot. It all came back again. And I felt like I fell back again for like 3 months.
Oh
So I was
no.
going through all these symptoms again.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And which again was frustrating, but the side effects of the vaccine is something you kind of have to go through. Everybody goes through. So I mean, even after the first shot, I got pretty severe side effects. So
Mm.
that definitely shows that I have been positive once, and I did have already have some immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to give it a boost. Um, Sleep still messed up. I think it kind of got better again after, and close to a month later. But then I got my second shot, which is what, almost a month ago, and then I got sick again for another a week or two.
Right.
Again,
Oh
my
man.
sleep is messed up. Oh, but what's interesting is the
Mm-hmm.
brain fog went away, and in the
Oh.
news I saw people who get the two vaccines, they would be eased from the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to expect, but it didn't help too much with the other stuff like my sleep, but it definitely cleared up my brain fog because like about a week later, I'm like, oh, one day I realized, darn, man, my mind is like laser sharp. It's like I could,
Interesting.
my focus is incredible, my concentration is amazing, and I'm like thinking so logically, and almost like, I could hurt somebody by saying, Mom, what you're saying is not logical. Like you're not contradicting yourself, kind of. It's that kind of,
Wow.
something you don't want to hear in just a regular conversation. But that's how sharp my brain was. And
Interesting.
that's great news because that's kind of my profession, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm definitely glad I made it through that. But sleep again is kind of discouraging, but I'm certainly glad I got my brain back.
You got your brain back. Yeah.
No,
If I
seriously,
only had a
yeah,
brain
yeah, yeah.
without the fog. Let me get to the chat. I'm going to prepare you for all the doctor
Yeah,
references
go ahead.
that
I'm
just
ready.
got like blown up. But I had a quick question. So you use this term brain fog, and actually that's the second time I heard it used today, and I've never heard it until now. But is that kind of like meaning like you don't have clarity, you can't think clearly? Is that kind of feeling?
you're asking me.
I've never heard
Yeah,
that phrase before. I can
brain.
understand it though.
Was that a question or your
A question. I'm
question?
wondering if they use it in. Is that like a Japanese phrase that is used actually translated from Japanese, or is that used in Japanese media? Brain fog.
I think it's an English medical term. I mean,
Is
there
it
might be
okay?
a more technical term in Latin, but it's a commonly described one of the symptoms.
Oh, okay, okay.
And yeah, and it's like fall, yeah, drop in focus,
Mhm.
not being able to concentrate. You're basically like in a haze. It's almost
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
you know, oh, another neat description that of my post-COVID symptoms or long haul is like, oh no, the fatigueness that you experience as a side effect from your vaccine, it's like going through a headache without a headache or going through fever without a fever. It's like that
Hmm.
kind of like really heaviness, like gravity felt so strong, kind of you just can't be standing anymore.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a hangover
Drinking.
without having to, yeah, without drinking, kind of.
Okay, that's no
Yeah,
fun. Because at least you usually get
that's
buzzed
kind of.
before you get the hangover. I'm
Yeah, at
sorry, I'm
least
joking. No.
we want to go through the positive before the
Yep.
negative. But yeah, the what did I say? The mind fog, the brain
The
fog.
brain fog. Yeah. Okay, that's a
It's
term.
yeah, I
Okay.
no, I think it's an overall drop in performance. And then okay, now I remember I was going through some confusion, like getting words mixed up, or the word that wasn't coming out. I don't know if that was because I was sick in bed for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but just your overall brain performance went down. Like your short-term memory wasn't working very well.
Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And no,
Okay.
it's not fun. It's not fun.
Okay. Some of those brain fog symptoms actually sound like my daily some symptoms sometimes. just me sometimes having a brain fog, but maybe that's again lack of sleep. Uh,
Oh, you're being so modest.
yeah, I'm
Or
being
no,
more
so
sarcastic.
humble.
Oh,
Humble.
right, right, right.
You-
Let's go to the chat. So the first thing is this wave of doctor references. So here we go. Here it starts. Matt Empire's like, I need a spanner for heart palpitations. Stat. And Khan's like,
Okay.
Spencer Reid from Criminal Minds, it's a TV show, said that a few times. Yes, I'm a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor.
Mm.
He's like the model looking guy with the nice hair and killer looks. And the Matt Empire's like, I'm a doctor, not the doctor. Uh, I think he's referencing Doctor Who. I'm not sure. And another one, he's
Okay.
like, your third chakra is misaligned with Venus crossing. You're referring to like Eastern medicine, I think, at that point. But Khan
Okay.
makes a very poignant comment here. Is like, yes, living in Japan as a foreigner. Live stream part two. In a pig's eye, trekkers will get the reference. Okay, Star Trek thing. Today's stream has been morphed into more like living with COVID in Japan.
Yeah. No,
And that is also a
it's
very good
very
thing. I didn't
true.
know we would go this deep on it, but you're right. It is something to talk about. It's real. And Matt's
But
like,
somebody said it.
yeah, exactly. Matt's like, I was wondering, and I think he's talking to you here, Eugene. I was wondering if you know if these symptoms are pretty common or not so much. I'm assuming it's different for everyone, etc. But do you actually have any idea about that? That's a really good one.
As I said earlier, each person has a different experience, and
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, what's making it difficult for medical doctors. That's making it difficult for policymakers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's even making it difficult for each other because you can't because some people will just brush how do you say just
Brush it off.
brush it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just a cold, I didn't get it. It wasn't, it's nothing serious. And on one hand, and then on the other hand, I mean, fortunately I'd never had to be taken to the emergency room, but you
Nice.
got people who need to be connected to artificial lungs and needing breathing assistance.
Well, I'm glad
Or
you didn't have it that bad. Yeah.
even worse, yeah, some people don't even survive. So and what's fascinating, or what's people don't know, the scientists don't know, the medical researchers don't know the cause. That's going back to what I said earlier. It's such a lonely disease. Not, I mean, you need to be isolated from people. Every person has a different experience, so you can't necessarily get much sympathy.
Mm.
And even the specialists, even the doctors, the most diplomatic answer they can give is they don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I heard that from so many professionals.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you can't blame them. I mean, that's how science works, you know?
That's coming
It's the
from a
most
scientist
safest thing to do.
yourself.
It's
Yeah.
coming from a
Yeah.
scientist, yeah.
I can understand that because there's so many unknowns right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even if we try to talk about the next, a topic here on this channel is like, so when will Japan open up? And I've asked this to a few people, business owners, and just people are like, I hope it opens up soon. But like, really, do you have any idea what the timeline is? And I think the final answer is like, I don't know. There's like just too many unknowns, and it's the same with this whole
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
situation and this disease.
Okay, so Chile, South America,
Mm.
opened up their borders last
Really?
week, like
Wow.
for people who have been vaccinated. Chile is one of the top countries that acquired the number of the number of vaccines, like
Hmm.
and being vaccinated. I think Israel is one of the, the highest.
Hmm.
So Chile have, like I said earlier, my 103-year-old grandmother has already gotten her third shot when I
Wow.
barely got my second. So Chile is really ahead of this vaccination process.
Wow.
Japan, I think they was it over 50 or 60% have been vaccinated once,
Hmm.
and close to 50% of the population have been vaccinated twice. And
Hmm.
they're beginning discussion about third vaccination, although it's only the beginning of the discussion.
Hmm.
Um, so opening up borders, okay, this is not, it may not be very helpful, but I have a feeling knowing the Japanese government, they would watch how other countries behave, whether they open up or not, and
Hmm.
then decide. They certainly won't be knowing the Japanese the way they are and how reserved they are about making decisions, they will not be the first one to take risks.
I think that's a very good assumption. I mean, just the
Like
way.
culturally speaking, their
Yeah.
mentality speaking, for better or for worse,
Right. Right. I mean,
just to be
there have
fair.
been talks recently of easing restrictions, but I don't think they're at that point to open borders. And maybe that is the safest way. Like, I don't usually agree with the government, especially now, but it might be a good way to see. I'm just thinking, yes, if the vaccination rate is high, however, like we still don't have a handle on things in most countries globally. Like there's still variants running around. I feel like I'm talking
Hmm.
about like a
Hmm.
Marvel series Loki. There's all these variants running around. But it's hard. I mean, but at the same time, yes, tourism, business, people's lives have been upended because they can't get back to the countries where they have homes and families and businesses. It's hard not to open up, So I can
Hmm.
kind of see both sides of the fence. I don't know what the right move is, though, honestly.
And you hear the media asking the government about was it passports or these
Vaccine
apps that
passports. Mm-hmm.
vaccine passports.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another. I think I mean these systems take time to develop. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another condition to to help kind of answer your question about when is Japan opening up.
Yeah.
So they certainly won't be the first.
Yeah.
Vaccine passport is, is another issue.
Right.
Vaccine rate in Japan is another issue.
That
So,
that's interesting because I know people who don't want to get the vaccine. I actually know a few who don't want to get it, but
mhm.
they're foreigners
Me
living in
too.
Japan. So like, how are they going to travel in the future? I'm just thinking like,
Hmm.
I really
Hmm.
don't know if they're
Hmm.
going to be able to.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
anyways,
Hmm.
let's get back to the chat just a little bit, and then let's
Yeah, go
kind of
ahead.
spin the
I
topic a
might
little
gonna
bit
snack
here.
a little bit.
Please go
Yeah, a
ahead.
lot of
Yeah.
brain power here.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta get out of that brain fog that Naoki is referring to. You're already out of it though. But Naoki's like, I hear that a symptom of COVID-19, yeah, brain fog, is so scary.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that when I don't get enough sleep. But if you get that on a daily basis, that is very very frustrating. It's totally different, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm. Hmm.
Matt Empire is saying, I think Norway is going all open, giving you the full Monty soon. So that's good to know. I mean, it's interesting. Wasn't Norway and some of the like the countries in that region weren't they had a very different policy about COVID? Like they're like, we're not going to wear masks, we're
And
not
that's
going to do social
Sweden.
distancing. Oh, was that Sweden? Okay, they decided not to
That's
go.
how they started. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, every country has been dealing with it in a different way and having consequences for all of our different actions. What I find in general is that all governments are kind of reactive. They're not really proactive. They're not thinking too far in the future. They're just reacting to what's happening, and some of the policies that they make are sometimes too late because they're reacting even too slow, without a proactive plan. So I think that's just my observation.
Hmm. My observation, and it could be wrong, but I think um, like women leadership has been more proactive, like kind of
Mm,
feed into what you just said,
mm,
like the prime minister or president of New Zealand,
mm, mm.
and also was it Norway? Leader of Norway, I think was is also female, or
I'm not
well, one
sure.
of the Nordic country, or
Mm,
was it Iceland?
could be.
One of the cold countries.
Mm-hmm. From
Who
the
kind of
north.
reached out to the children. I think they've been more, and even Merkel, they've been more open and frank and
Mm-hmm.
forward about taking actions.
Yep, I think so
Hmm.
too. I think so
Merkel
too.
of Germany, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, those man.
Come on, man, get with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They're too retroactive.
well, that's again, that would be another topic for another stream about the female
Hmm.
presence of
Hmm.
politicians, especially here in Japan,
Hmm.
especially with the election coming up. But we will
Hmm.
digress. We will digress. Let's go back to the main topic. You mentioned earlier, said there's actually one good thing that happened because of COVID, and I will just, or you said there is a good thing that
Remind
happened.
me.
I don't know. You didn't go into it, but you said there wasn't one good thing that happened. So I'll say what my good thing was, and maybe it'll spark it from you. But
Hmm.
you know, a lot of us have been affected, especially our job wise. And my teaching career, for me, anyways, like working at this company for 18 years. Kind of let go of a lot of their senior staff, and I was included in
Hmm.
that. But it also gave me the opportunity to kind of challenge myself into doing what I'm doing now, like this creative kind of career that I'm trying to forge with YouTube and content creation and videography. It just kind of gave me the hunger and the kick in the butt to get the ball rolling, right? So that's one good thing I can think of it. Another good thing, I guess, a small thing, is like realizing we can do some work from home, and I personally, honestly like it. I think there's a balance, going out, maybe not going out to the office, but going out and socializing with people, but also like saving time by not commuting to an office all the time.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
one good thing that I learned from the pandemic. Did it?
Yeah,
Did it?
and to show more respect for those who have to go to sites, who don't have the option to
Yeah.
work at home. I mean, even in the future, maybe they could be automated, but
Hmm.
I mean, the doctors, they got to be there,
There
medical
are,
doctors and
yeah, there are more like what do you
the
call it?
essential workers.
Essential
So,
workers. Yeah. As far as the doctor comment, I know that there's more things like online appointments, online
mhm.
where you can actually just Zoom with the doctor and they can somehow give you advice.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Hmm.
always, but
Hmm. Hmm.
but
Hmm.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
right. There is definitely a workforce that has to be in the front lines and doing it, and I really
Hmm.
appreciate them. Delivery people, like holy crap, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, Matt Empire has the same ideas. Like doctors have to be there for now, um, and I think he's thinking of like remote AI and robots and all that. 5G,
Mhm.
man, 5G,
Mhm.
watch out. Um, so yeah, Eugene, is there anything else that personally good that came out of this experience with you?
Um, I can't remember what I may have referred to
Mm-hmm.
earlier. But kind of I don't know the Brad Pitt movie about growing younger. Uh,
Benjamin Button,
but
yes.
yeah, so I mean that was an experience that kind of made me think about what my life might be 40, 50 years from now. It kind of weird. It was almost like a movie. It gave me a glimpse of my future. I thought, okay, this is how people age, kind of.
Oh,
And like I
interesting.
said, I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same, but it was that kind of an experience.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like my going back to my initial talk about my grandmother, you know, sometimes, in the morning you ask, she kind of looks kind of black, kind of like, she kind of looks tired. and you might just customarily ask, "How are you?" kind of just to get some conversation going. And her reply is, well, in your hundred, when you're 100 years, when you're this age, high in age, what did she say? You, I don't know, she said something like you don't always feel up to par, or you have good days and bad days. And
Mm-hmm.
good days, she's awesome. She was still climbing upstairs and stuff, but then on bad days, all you want to do is sit on the couch, kind of. and
Mm-hmm.
and that's how having the fatigue from the COVID was like a fatigueness.
I see.
So yeah, so it kind of helps. I wouldn't recommend anybody to get it, but it's one of what you gain from difficulties of life in general. Like, you have that experience, and then you can kind of apply it. You put yourself in other people's shoe who might be going through difficult times because you've been through it. So, in a way, it could be taken as a blessing.
Okay. Well, nice to put a
You know,
positive spin on
just
things in a
yeah,
kind of strange way, because this is
yeah,
again a
that's
really
true.
strange situation,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Matt Empire's got some interesting comments. He's like, I'm looking forward to the time when we have AI diagnosis and automated surgeries. Um, what doesn't kill you makes you think about how you're going to be killed. Interesting. And he puts your last comment, your last story,
Survivor.
yeah, in a different way. He says, Eugene, meet your ghost of future past.
Good reference. Yeah, it's Christmas in like 2 or 3 months, isn't it?
Ah, okay. Well, you got to
The
get through
three
Halloween
ghosts.
first, right? But
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I see. I was in Minami the other day. I saw Matt for a little bit there, and also went to Space Station, that video game bar out there, to interview the other Matt Block, who's the owner there, and in front of what you call it, Big Step shopping areas, already huge Halloween decorations, like full on, jack o' lanterns and pumpkined out and stuff. So I was like, wow, this is Japan. They're so on to the next festival or thing.
I'm trying to remember in North America what would be like in the market, like the theme and decorations. Would it be Halloween about this time? I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's almost October anyway.
I don't know if it would be that early, like as soon
That
as
yeah, that's what I
things.
thought.
But I would say, yeah, near around the last week it would start. But I just remember Japan. I don't know what, though. Like as soon as summer sales were done, it's like bam, Halloween, like the next day.
Halloween,
It's
yeah,
just like, oh
yeah,
my God,
yeah.
it's still hot out. You haven't even gotten
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
leaves haven't
Hmm.
started falling yet. So yeah, and Matt's like,
Hmm.
woohoo, yeah, referring us meeting up there at Triangle Park. Yeah, there were a lot of people just hanging out. Late at night around those open areas, and that seems to be Triangle Park's always a big hangout there. But like when I was in Kyoto, it was like under the bridge at Sanjo, Shijo. I'm sure parks people, that's kind of the new normal as well. People are just hanging out in open spaces to minimize the risk,
Hmm.
but to,
Hmm.
to still keep in touch with humanity. Eugene, we're gonna go to the last topic here, and I don't want it to keep you too long.
Yeah.
We're at about hour and 45. Can you maybe hang around for another 15 just to finish off this last one? Let me know how you feel after that. But I wanted to.
Where are we in the schedule?
We're about an hour
We've
45.
been.
Hour
Yeah,
45
yeah.
in.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Any other topics? Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
something more on the bright side other
Yeah,
than
yeah.
the
Let's
darkness.
let's give it a different spin. So the other
Hmm.
thing we want to talk about was, yeah, kind
Okay.
of
Change,
your.
change your mindset.
That's right. Yeah. Go to the fifth and sixth chakras onto the side there. Uh,
Okay.
you are. I think we had this conversation about wanting to start your own YouTube channel, and I think that's
Oh my
so
gosh.
awesome.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
That topic.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
I would consider you like a budding creator. You're like on the cusp, and I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah. You beat me to it.
I beat into it because like I've been beating around the bush for 8 9 months, just like planning and learning, and I never actually recorded until I did the opposite. Like went through live streams, and now I'm going to more regular content. I
Hmm.
want to know
Hmm.
what your plans are, what your idea is for your channel.
Plans. Okay. Like, so I don't want to spoil it and give away too much, but it overall the theme is about cooking.
Okay.
And I never got to tell you this earlier this morning, but so I've never been in a circumstance of having to have to cook
Mm-hmm.
until I started caregiving for my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And um, And the thing is, when I watch regular cooking shows, it never intrigued me. I mean, I don't find it interesting. I don't get much out of it. So I'm trying to create or think of or design a cooking show that would actually intrigue me or people like me, or I don't know, people with an engineering or science background, who would more appreciate more. Like basically, and a cooking experience is really neat. I mean, the whole idea. I mean, cooking is basically, sharing your love for others. Basically, you're by providing food. I mean, to each other, you're allowing them to live. It's like an ultimate way to acknowledge that they are alive, acknowledging their needs, acknowledging their nutrition necessities. Um, and but so often food and meals are taken for granted, and okay, we could get credit to McDonald's, of having smile on their menu, and they're willing to give that for free. But I think it's such a daily. I mean, meals happen like two or three times a day for a lot of for most of us, I guess, or for a lot of us, and it has a tendency to be taken for granted, unless until I started cooking for others,
Mm,
and you're not doing it so that you could be thanked. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do,
mm-hmm.
and there's so much depth to it. History another thing that I've learned to appreciate later in my age. But I mean, considering the history of cooking, the I mean, you have all these historically famous French chefs. There's so many when you look around the world, kind of talking away from the French chefs, like each region has their specialty and a historical background of how that dish was developed. And of course, initially it was based on locally available food, but then we are in such a convenient age where we can pretty much appreciate the different kinds of food no matter where you are in the world,
Mm-hmm.
with some exceptions though, because there's a lot of fruit, like fresh fruits and dishes in Chile that's not available in Japan.
Mm,
Certain fruits, certain vegetables, and that's not limited to Chile. Like, the farther away you go from the native vegetation, it gets harder. And again, but at the same time, even if you have those ingredients, different country people have been trained, their tongue have been trained in different ways. So you have to change the seasoning, adjust it to, do localization.
right.
Um, you know, I was just talking to like a group of like three or four foreigners, and they were saying within the first 2 years they were in Japan, they all got sick. They all caught, basically they were not immune. I mean, I'm kind of going off the topic to like immunity and stuff, but
That's okay.
not having that Far East kind of um not being brought up in the Far East, they were like unique viruses and bacteria that
Yep.
they had to catch it and develop immunity for it. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, back to the food experience. So there's history to each dish, and then I mean, it's such a colorful culture, or the experience, and there's so much to it, and I'm like, wow, this is so fascinating, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of something that I wanted to share, and also language, like the dish, the how do you say it? The cultural cuisines and the language. I think they both go hand in hand, like because
Mm,
a lot of the Japanese like cooking terms, are just exported or imported into other countries. Like umami, I think that's a
mm,
word that you may have mentioned before.
yeah.
I think that's been incorporated into the Japanese, I mean, to the French language,
And
like
English as well. Yeah.
in English as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so I thought, okay, introducing language and food together is kind of a necessity and a good match and a necessity. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought that that would be a good angle as a YouTube show.
Awesome, dude. Wow, that's so interesting, and it's already
Hmm.
making me hungry just thinking about it. Honestly, um,
Okay, okay,
so are you
okay.
saying you just really
So
got into cooking after taking care of your grandma? You weren't really interested in it, but now you're really. It sounds like you're really passionate about it in that sense.
I am, and not that I cook on a daily basis if I'm on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah, I was thinking, I wanted to make something that would interest people like me who wasn't really interested
Mm-hmm.
before, but something that could be just pleasing to the eye, not only like color wise, but also kind of an action kind of. I mean, think about it. Kitchen is probably the most violent place in the whole household. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and it's like the most violent place in every home. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you how could I say it before, like, so that I won't gross people out? But I mean, you have a knife, you're cutting through animals, you're cutting through vegetables. I mean, it's a very violent place. I mean, you would use hammers to break nuts apart, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah. I mean, there's so much force and blades going around. I don't even know where I was going with this.
It's
I'm
definitely
starting a
it's
brain
definitely like
fart.
a war zone. Yeah, it's like the killing
It
floor.
it
It can
is.
be.
It is.
Yeah. I will
It's just amazing that it's legal. Yeah.
I will tell
If you
you
think
my
about it.
kind of journey in cooking. Honestly, I'm really interested in your channel. I love watching cooking documentary shows. I watch a few on Netflix. I think there's something obviously. Hey, come on. Let's talk about this. I heard food is good for you. I mean, I heard eating is good for you and drinking water and breathing and all that. But we are also vested into culinary delights. I mean, in a way, no food, no life, right? And we had this conversation earlier. You are what you eat. So I'm
Hmm.
trying to be a bit more healthy, especially with COVID. But I can totally understand your journey. I got into cooking because I just really sucked at it, and I started wanted to, I was living on my own. I wanted to save money, and as I got, it's like a skill, right? Like it's like anything. It's like YouTube. Your first videos are gonna be your worst videos. So my first dishes were not edible. Like I tried to make an omelet, and they're like, "What is this?" Straight to the garbage, right? But there's so much information out there too. I love watching YouTube videos of like Emmy Eats or whatever. She's like this Japanese YouTuber. She's in America. She made this cool thing called corn on the cob ribs. So what it is, you get like a corn on the cob, you split it into three, like split it down the from the top to the bottom, and then you put all these spices as if it's like a rib, and then you put it in an air fryer. And what happens is the corn will start to curl into the shape of a rib, and then you just eat the kernels off of it
Hmm.
after
Hmm.
it's done, and it feels like you're biting meat. And the
Hmm.
flavors,
Hmm.
and it's like, yeah, like I mean, I'm at that point now where I can just watch something once, maybe make a few notes, and I can copy it now. But I didn't used
Hmm.
to be
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
And yeah, in my household, I'm the chef of the house. Like Chica does a little bit of cooking, but she knows the kitchen's my domain. So when I'm holding a knife, I just tell her I'm passing with the knife. I go, watch out, I have a knife. It's a very violent and dangerous place. I've cut myself, and I had to go to the local hospital because it was pretty deep. Like I
Oh
had to get
no.
they put those bandages that have like the stitches already like built
Oh
into them.
wow.
Yeah, I cut myself. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but this slipped and just got me. So, but I'm still alive.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
like Matt says, what
Hmm.
doesn't kill you, it gives you scars. Um, Guys, if you guys are hungry for this type of content, if you're feeling it, Con the man is saying, speaking of YouTube, has everyone hit like? Come on, show Lito some love, guys. So
Nice,
Con,
nice.
thank you for reminding people, and like Matt's like, oh yeah, dude, thanks for the reminder. um, and he makes this interesting thing. He's comment. He said we should all just move over to Huel. Have you heard of Huel? You know what this is? Okay, so
Mm-mm.
I think Matt, I might have talked to Matt about it. I know Frank does something similar there in
Talking
Vancouver.
out.
What it is, it's a food delivery service. So if you're not into cooking, you can buy these pre-made, not pre-made meals. They're what do you call it? Pre-prepared meals. So if you want to
Okay.
have like a Spanish omelet, they'll get you the eggs, they'll get you all the ingredients, they'll get a really quick, easy list of how to put it all together. So you cook it without having to do all the pre-planning of going to the grocery store and buying all the things together. It's all delivered to your house, and you make a really easy, quick meal. Fresh though. They just prepare all that. So yeah, that's one way. Or you could just watch Eugene's up and coming channel and learn some things.
Yeah.
By the way, what are you gonna focus on? Is it mainly Japanese cuisine, or you don't want to maybe gonna put some Chilean cuisine?
Yeah, it'll be international. Again, my focus is like language and cuisine. So I'm hopefully that cuisine will be introduced by that language. And of course, I'm not that fluent in, you know, all the dishes origin languages. So, but fortunately, using Google Translate, I could, pick up some words here and there. I mean, learning a language, it's about nouns, it's about verbs, and it's about how to put them in the right order, kind of. And then you got some, modifications for nouns and singular, plural, and then he, she, it, kind of, it might depend. I mean, might change with the Latin languages, but there are those basic rules, and this is a pen is kind of used to be the most basic English. Japanese kind of started learning, like, I don't know, watashi wa gaijin desu or something like that,
right.
for a beginner. So I'm thinking about really simple language.
That's cool.
But kind of yes, survival language, nothing fancy, just stick to the menu. There's always, plenty of translation resources for cooking, and so I might occasionally look at different YouTube channel, explaining that food in that language. But I'll do it at my level. So that's one thing.
Cool.
And not only language and food, that's kind of the theme, but about cooking and explaining, like I said, once you get used to it, you can only kind of pay attention to certain parts and then kind of do modifications. Like you have a basic and then you do changes, but then it takes a lot of experience to get to that point. And so I think it's about, information, not portrayal, but, giving out the information that even with a short attention span like me could kind of follow along, people who won't get confused. So that's kind of something I'm trying to achieve, cooking for really beginners like myself. It seems like I'm like an eternal beginner, so.
I see. No worries.
Yeah,
no worries.
Another good motivation is, learning how to cook, kind of gave me something common, to talk about with my girlfriend as well. So she's a great cook. She's my teacher.
Awesome. There are so many cool comments now. I just want to say a big shout out to Video Game Bar Space Station. That must be Matt Block out there, who I went out to interview yesterday. Matt, thank you. And he's like, whoop, be back in a bit. Okay, so come back after you finish lurking or doing whatever you're doing. And I love the other Matts. He's probably commenting while I'm saying all this misinformation. He's like, Huel, nope, it's not what you're saying. All wrong. Huel is space food. Powdered meal replacement. Similar to protein shake, but we can replace the meal. So, yeah, sorry, Matt. I totally got that wrong. It's not the food delivery thing that I was talking about. That's something that Frank does. But yeah, it's like those, what do you call, powdered meals, food replacement. Good. I wonder if you can lose weight on that. Huel, Soylent, and Comp in Japan are the alternatives I know. There you go. Okay, thanks, dude. So it's food for people who don't want to actually cook it up. I guess. I think Con had a really interesting comment here. His household is what he says. I hear you, Eugene. My wife is an amazing cook, so I haven't cooked for well over a decade, and believe me, I feel loved. On the other side, she's an awful housekeeper. Hopefully she's not watching the stream. Housekeeping is clearly my job. Okay, well you have a good balance.
Fair.
Yeah, it's fair. Fair trade. And she really enjoys cooking. So there you go. And Matt's always being sarcastic. Lies! Food is a complete waste of time. Just get the Energon cubes, and then we are all transformed. Easy for someone with a sense of taste to say. but not COVID related. I have a terrible sense of
Mm.
taste and smell. Yeah, some people are just not. They're not as cultured as those with the palate. No, I'm just joking. It's all good, dude. Con replies to him, says, "I have very little sense of smell, so my palate is also pretty pathetic." Um, Con, if you and Matt ever did like a live stream or like a YouTube channel together, you should call it the Pathetic Palates or something. Michael S in the house. He's like, "I'm hungry for fugu." Gotta get your puffer fish in there. But yeah, and Matt goes on to explain. I recommend Huel then. Big fan for people who need to eat but couldn't be bothered to actually make it. There you go. So your comments are well appreciated and funny. The first step is to being a pro. To being a pro is realizing you never will be. Yes, there is no spoon, or in your case, no greasy spoon. JC in the house saying, I thought I heard you say Soylent there for a moment, Emceelito, as in Soylent Green. Is that a movie? I think I've heard the reference. Maybe it was Soylent Green. I think it's a movie or conspiracy theory. It's one of those. They knew their audience. There you go. I think it's a documentary maybe about soy and guys, educate me. I'm getting all these cultural references probably completely wrong, but educate me here. So Eugene, any timeline on when we can expect, when you're hoping to launch your channel?
So you were talking about this event in the end of November, this YouTube restaurant gathering by a YouTuber.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
So let me hash this out for people who might not know. So John Dobb, who runs the YouTube channel only in Japan, he's like one of the top 4 YouTubers in Japan. He is doing an event partnering with Kochi Prefecture. The mayor of Kochi Prefecture has hired him to kind of promote the area to foreigners. Right, it's all in English. And he's given us a free lunch. So he's allocated 40 seats to go to a Kochi cuisine-based restaurant there in Osaka, very close to the Blarney Stone in Umeda. I just actually passed by there the other day, getting some footage. It's near Ohatsu Tenjin Shrine there. And yeah, you can, maybe I'll have to drop the link. Eugene, were you able to successfully register?
I did. I don't know if I ever got the reply.
Yeah,
like if I was accepted or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get any reply.
So I registered for myself. Yeah.
And Matt Empire is that the one with Kevin? Yes, it's the one. So Matt and I both know Kevin Riley. He's a good friend of John Dobb, and whenever he comes to Osaka, Kevin is on his streams and helping out with videos and stuff. So yeah, they're inviting 40 people to come out and have a free lunch on them. I think they're going to do some sort of video about it. I'm going to be there. I'm excited to meet a huge YouTuber like John Dobb and get some good connections.
Are you going to do a live streaming of the event? Or
I asked Kevin if it's okay to, so he's going to check for me.
Okay.
But yeah, that is the video we were talking about, Matt Empire. So let's see if we can find that video. I know I had the link there somewhere. But if you go to only in Japan with John Dobb and like look for like free lunch or lunch event, or you can go to Kuma's Kitchen, KUMA''S. That's Kevin Riley's awesome cooking channel as well. Go to Kuma's Kitchen and check out one of his more recent videos, and it'll be there. It's an invite for you. Limited to 40 people, so get in the house, people. Yes. But so you were saying November?
That's a good target because of this opportunity. I mean, if I'm going there and if the subject of YouTube comes up, it will make more sense if I have my own YouTube channel. I mean, people will take it more seriously.
Yeah.
But like you said, you were thinking about this for months. I mean, idea-wise, I've been thinking. So like, why did I start this? Well, one thing is, okay, I'm here with a doctorate degree, in sciences, but then I'm helping out. The thing is that I put a lot of emphasis on family, and helping out with the oldest generation of my family is, I don't know, it's an instinctively important experience for me, and to be so, and criticisms are welcomed. It's understandable. But it's you live life only once,
Mm-hmm.
and you're overlapping with different generation or different family members or friends is only once, and your family is kind of who you are. And so anyway, to me it was very important, and I wanted to get something constructive out of my caregiving and cooking area experience, so that people would say, okay, I see you weren't just snacking in the kitchen, kind of, that you did as long as you have a what's the word, a project that you've completely completed. I think it will be, you can write on your resume.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was trying to achieve.
Nice.
The the more time passes, away from that experiences, your kind of motivation keeps declining. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I've struggled with this past year, maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, like, I would have spur of, weeks that I, prepare. And so the idea has been around for, I would say, a couple of years, and it's
Wow.
kept improving. Um, I mean, I would shoot, regular cooking behavior, but knowing, okay, this is not what I want to present. But each of those steps, you learn something about the camera, you learn something about the sound.
Yeah.
It's a whole. I mean, I have no training in filmmaking, so like, each effort I make is kind of the learning process. So I mean, it's taking time, but I mean, in my mind, it looks great.
Yeah. That's the thing,
In
right?
theory, yeah, yeah. This is a very dangerous comment by scientists. In theory, it should work.
Right,
You never
right,
want to
right.
hear that from a scientist.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't think like scientists have it all worked out and it should be perfect according to the models, blah blah blah. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw this. I saw the newest animation for Marvel Studios. It's called What If, and there was a part where
Okay.
what if Iron Man actually didn't become Iron Man that way. There was a different origin story, and it
Really?
ended up
Mm-hmm.
like a bad guy taking over the blueprints for making the Iron Man model and then turning that against him. But yeah, it showed the evolution of like the first Mark 1 model was terrible. Like it would malfunction. Then Mark 2 would get a little better. And then we forget that that's part of learning. We make and break.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Matt Empire says it really nicely. Says start the channel, figure it out later. Yeah, I've seen other things like Think Media saying just start dirty. Just start messy. Just
Mm-hmm.
press
Mm-hmm.
record and this and that. And yeah, he's like, yeah, you have
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of 1 to 2 years before it really matters. Yeah. Again, these are great maxims. Easier said than done. But I will say, once you get the ball rolling, and you have a very clear vision. The way you explained it to me is very clear, and it sounds like you're really passionate about it. So I think you're going to be able to make something you're proud of. And I love the mashup of language and food. Matt has another interesting ideas like engineer your food experience. And he goes on, here we have a blueprint for pasta carbonara, 3 units of pasta, etc. The bond that we're going to be using, the nuts and bolts, is the cheese, or whatever, You could totally look at it from an engineering point of view. Engineer your meal. That'd be awesome. Awesome series, What If. Really enjoy it. Yes, it is a pretty cool series. But yeah, I'm loving how people are responding to this. And yeah, hey, at that event, Eugene, I hope you get to go. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna bring Chica. Hopefully, bring
If they
her.
choose me.
Yep. Yes, if you are the one who has been the chosen one. But Matt's
I
like,
sent you the link. I don't know if you got it or if you want to share it.
did you send the link to my messenger? Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the thing is,
Was that okay, or?
on the YouTube in the live chat, I'm not able to put in websites, so I'll put it in the description after. I think that's the best way. So we'll make sure you guys get it. Yeah, Matt's like doing one of those movie references. Live stream, the live streaming that is live streaming in Streamtion. It's like Inception, right? You guys are funny. Love it. Yeah, and Matt, you're on fire today. I love it. At least you won't start your channel with the ice baby crossed with My Heart Will Go On like I did. He made this crazy mashup of ice baby and dude. I will not forget your comments, about me trying to niche down, find my niche. And like, yeah, I'm just niching down, just with 6 different ideas. Me and Matt totally like are on the same wavelength. Where our brains act like fireworks. It's nuts. Um, it's great that you have a great plan. I think you just got to execute it on it, Eugene. I'm really looking forward to your content. Guys, we're going to go back to Khan's comment. Is like, hey guys, if you're liking this, we got 7 likes on YouTube. That's awesome. If we can get one more like, you would make me so happy. But Eugene is already like snacking in his thing. I think we should have something that complements. What are you eating there exactly? What's in Eugene's mouth?
Now I'm into nuts.
You're nuts about nuts. Mix nuts is what
Right.
I said.
Mix
Is it
nuts. Yeah,
mix
yeah.
nuts? Mix die nuts?
It's
Mix
just
nuts.
mix nuts. Oh, it's even in English. Yeah.
Nice. Where did you get that?
Peanuts.
At Yamayo?
Goma Super.
Yama Super.
It's one of those. It's like, I don't know, Aldi's in the United States, or like Costco kind of. It's like a box store.
Okay. Well, Eugene,
Yeah.
what do you think? Speaking of your food channel, maybe we can ask some of your expertly advice. What is a good pairing? What is a good what is good to have with
Pairing.
nuts? What would help wash it down?
What about like anzu liqueur? I mean, that's a good match, isn't it?
Unzu? Did you say unzu
Uh,
liqueur?
Anzu, yeah, anzu. What is it? Apricot or
Ah, see, we're learning language and learning how to drink at the same time. So it's a prelude
yeah,
to your
yeah,
channel.
yeah,
Unzu liqueur.
yeah.
Do you
So,
have,
wait, are we moving on to the next section of your program,
I
or
can't I
is
can't
that?
help but moving on because you're already like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
already there.
I'm
You're
sorry.
halfway
I'm
there.
sorry.
No, it's all good, guys. If you guys are finding value from this, do go to YouTube and hit a like. We got 7 likes. Let's see if we can get 8 likes. Let's see if we get 9 likes. Because me and Eugene are gonna drop some liquorious bombs on you right now. I hope I don't drop anything on my desktop because last time it was what is
Like
it?
you did.
Devil, what was it? Devil Beergate, the Devil's Beer. Adrian, who's not on the stream tonight, I saw him post a Facebook photo. He's got the red version of that Devil's Beer. I had the black one, and I commented, like, don't get it near your electronics. Luckily, my electronics survived the spillage. But yeah, Eugene, give me a second. Entertain people while. Do you have it ready there?
Oh, I do. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Slowly do the
But
reveal.
yeah, I do. Wait, wait? Are you gonna like exit, go somewhere,
I have to.
and
Give
during
me
that
30,
time you want me
30
to?
seconds to just get my stuff, and in the meantime, you can maybe show it to
Yeah, I
people.
mean, I can. Oh, talk about the liqueur, or
Yeah,
a
just
different show and tell. I could, because I found other cool stuff. Like, well, what's your plan for the rest of the night, or the rest of the
we're
show?
we're basically at the max evolution phase. This is where we turn into like either super
Evolve.
Pokemon or drunk Pokemon. And yeah, see
Okay.
people in the chat, they already know. They already know. So he's like he's like Jaeger. Matt Empire's like Jaeger. Khan's like they can sniff it. Khan's like feeling under a crushing kineticism. Time's getting on. Gotta get another chew high. And Matt's like, enjoy the alcohol. So they can smell it. They can smell it through the airwaves. Like 10 people are watching now because when you start to
Mhm.
bring something interesting on, seriously, the viewers go up. They smell it through the internet wave. So go ahead, like
Mhm.
bring whatever you're gonna bring. Are you gonna bring the big? You just do what you do. You have the
So,
stage.
okay, so we talked to, I spoke with Lito this morning, saying, okay, well, I mean, we're in the same city, we have access to the same products, so, and I've watched his past show. He started drinking. He's describing what the drinks are like, and but like, I'm not there to enjoy it, and I know you guys are, all over the world, and you may not have access to the drinks that we were about to have, but at least, I could have a first-hand experience. I mean, if you want, Lito, like one day, maybe you should have like a globally accessible alcoholic drink so everybody can, including those who's just waking up in the morning, so they could put, like, I don't know, whiskey in their coffee or something to get their day start, get a kick start.
Yeah, I think you're onto something because Michael S has been getting on my case. He's like,
Yogurito.
I got this bottle of Yogurito last time I was in Japan. Lito, if you ever drink it on stream, I want to drink it with you. I'm like, okay, Eugene knows my fans. Like, he knows them. Matt knows them too. He's like, drunk 'em on. Yes. You're right. Let's have a shared experience. And I know I was like, yeah, we don't need it. That's fine. It's all too expensive. Okay, let's do it. You've convinced me. You've convinced me. Is it time to get drunk 'em on? What's going on here? Did you reveal anything yet?
No, not yet, not yet. Or
Okay.
did I? I don't
I'm
know.
I'm
So
gonna.
this is one that Lito suggested. The light might be a little too strong. So no, there was actually another plum whiskey that I highly recommend. But we'll save that for another occasion for a variety of reasons. And Lito actually suggested this. Anzu, maybe you have it easier,
Yeah.
more viewable on your side, on your end.
No worries. I'm gonna get you
You
on
said you had a
camera.
larger.
Yeah, I'm gonna
What?
get you on camera too,
Oh
real
no.
quick. So
Okay, I'm not. Okay, I'm not on the camera. Okay.
yeah, it's Lido Inception right now. It's multiple Lidos. Uh, Eugene in the house. What's
Oh,
up?
there we go.
All right. Okay. So, all right. We're literally talking heads now. Okay. So while you do your shopping network pitch, I'm gonna do the demo on the
For
floor.
$3.99. Only for $3.99. If you buy it in the next half an hour,
That's
you
right.
could get 2 bottles.
はい、皆さん限定のあんずのお酒ですけ
There you
れ
go.
ど、
Yeah,
ア
yeah,
プリ
yeah.
コットとハニーです。ご覧
Mm.
ください。
Yum
Um,
yum. It's 14%. Kind of sweet tooth, kind of. But it's good. It's good.
So let's do a prelude to your language, like cause language channel. So it's like Anzu Shinruchu. What is this?
I wasn't sure. Is Chica, is that your wife? Is she
Yes, she is my
around?
wife. She's probably on the stream. She's probably watching this particular part because she always comments on this, and I know what her
Mm-hmm.
comment's gonna be. I already predicted, but it does say in hiragana at the bottom Shinruchu. Is that correct? Shinruchu.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that Shinruchu? Yeah, and is that how you read this kanji name?
I guess it.
Shinruchu. Yeah, I guess so. I
Yeah.
guess so.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anzu no osake. So this is
I
apricot
didn't know the
wine.
character for apricot could be read as Shin as well. I mean,
Mm,
the what Japanese word is anzu.
Anzu. Hmm.
Mm.
Interesting. It's a beautiful bottle. It almost has like the color of like a deeper whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had this
So
particular one
so the
before?
the middle character means dew. No, what's that?
Dew?
Dew, like morning dew.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mountain
it's like
Dew.
apricot dew liquor, kind of.
Right, right. Um,
But this,
well,
yeah,
sorry, just to
it's
get
usually read lo, like for
raw.
Russia.
Ah,
Ro,
okay.
not ru. So that kind of also throwing me off.
Interesting. Michael's commenting.
Mm.
Michael's calling in from Vancouver or watching from Vancouver. He's like, "That's like $2 Chuck, but better." Is $2 Chuck an actual name of a liquor, or is that like a slang name for like a really cheap apricot wine or something? It looks lovely. Have you actually tried this one before, Eugene?
No, I haven't, so I'm looking forward to it.
Cool, dude.
I
Cool.
yeah, I imagine it's kind of sweet, but that's good. It's something you can enjoy. It could be like a dessert wine kind of,
Dessert wine. Okay, awesome.
you know.
You know what I forgot to get? I only have two hands. I'm gonna go get my little my glass to put it in here.
Hmm.
What would you
Hmm.
put this in? Would you put in like a little choco that would you drink with sake or something, or just like
You're
a regular
asking what
glass?
I'm gonna do it tonight, like on screen?
I mean, like how do you usually drink something like this? You put it in what type of glass do you usually pour it in? I don't. Educate me. I don't know. Um, so yeah, show the people, show them, and then I'll come back with my own ghetto glass here. Hold on a second.
Okay, good. Well, unfortunately, you're missing this, but just for this show, I found this. They were having like a Gundam special goods display at one of the department store, and I bought like this I don't know, Hyakushiki. I'm also wearing like a Gundam Hyakushiki. This is like Type 100, and they painted this huge robot with gold. I don't know why you would ever want to paint your military um, vehicles in such a catchy color like gold or red. But anyway, so I was just showing the audience that I
Mhm.
got this mug
Oh, sweet.
newly at Loft, Umeda Loft.
We made a lot. Hold on. I'm gonna
Yeah,
zoom in on your face a bit there. Show that
yeah,
again. Show that again so people see the detail.
Gundam Hyakushiki. The light might
Yeah.
be a little bright, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Slowly
and it's
rotate it so
clear.
people can see the graphic.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Light's good. Light's good.
Yeah, so okay, light's good.
Yeah, we got some Gundam fans for sure. Ricky, I don't know if he's on the
Okay.
stream watching this,
So
but
that's the eyes, and then the T-shirt I'm wearing right now actually is like the Hyakushiki gold printed.
cool.
Yeah. So when I saw this yesterday, okay, I gotta get it. So I got it after I saw you. This is my
Dude,
T-shirt.
that's coordination. That's dedication right there, man. You're turning into me because, like, for the acapella lives I used to do, I would like buy a shirt just for the show or something.
Okay,
close to-
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for your show, man.
Awesome, dude. You're the man. You're the
Gotta
man.
make
Thank
it
you.
special.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Hey, don't make this might not be the last time you're on, so hopefully this will be a more.
Hope not.
You hope not? Oh my
Like,
god.
never again.
Never again. That's it. First time's the worst time. Um, people in the chat, guys, what? People are coming. You bring the alcohol and people start coming out of the woodwork. Michael S is like, yeah, it's the cheap wine from Trader Joe's. Do they have a Trader Joe's in Vancouver now? I always thought it was an American thing. Brian Ing in the house, scorchy. It looks sweet. The mix of honey makes me think that it'll taste like mead with apricot flavors. That's exactly how Brian sounds like in real life. No, mead, honey. Actually, that's honey wine. Isn't that honey beer? Oh my god, I'm so addicted to mead. I love it. Have you had mead before?
Is that honey beer you said?
Honey beer, I think. Honey wine.
Oh, is that a cocktail?
No, it's just like a straight up fermented beer made from honey.
No, I don't think so. It sounds
Oh,
delicious.
It's so good. It's not super sweet either because the ferment, but it goes down smooth.
Oh, really?
Goes down smooth. I got drunk on when I visited Dylan, our mutual friend Dylan, in his home in the Catskills in New York, upstate New York. Their neighbors
Okay.
were making mead from the honey that they harvested, and it's like, oh my god,
I can imagine.
so good, so good. And Michael S is like, Charles Shaw wine was sold for $1.99, hence $2 chuck. Got it, dude. Got it. Look at you peeps, y'all into alcohol zoos. All right, so that's not the only thing you bought today, but maybe we should start off with this.
No.
Or do you want to
Yeah.
start off this?
Did you get a second bottle as well?
I did get something.
Oh, you did?
Did
Okay.
get a little
okay.
something little different.
All
I
right,
couldn't
all
find the
right,
exact same
okay.
one. Okay,
All
but
right.
Eugene, what do you think? You give me your advice. Do I go with the Belgian clear glass, or do you go with the perhaps a lick of honey? I want something sweet. This was actually from an old sweet, like pudding or something, and I kept the ceramic jar. So we drink
Okay.
honey
What's your
in here.
second drink? I mean,
Second drink is similar to yours in taste. Similar to your second drink in taste.
oh, okay.
Similar flavor.
Well, yeah. Then we could use the apricot for the honey one, since
good.
it sounds like it has some honey in it. Is that
Love me
correct?
some honey. Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go for it. No honey,
Okay.
no funny.
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm opening it on the stream. I hope. Okay, you got to remind me. My audio interface is still right by here. I'm not spilling anything on that thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to
Again.
watch my keyboard too.
Yeah. All right, peeps. I'm opening it up on the stream. We are
Oh,
getting
nice aroma.
extreme. Yeah.
Sweet as you would expect. You can kind of smell the apricot. Really fruity.
Or as they say in Australia and New Zealand, sweet as.
Yeah.
It means something totally different.
Yeah. So what I've noticed, like you can smell the fruitiness further away from the bottle or the source from the alcohol. Like the closer you get, I think you get more, I don't know, more of the liqueur-ish
Yeah, I
smell,
gotta agree.
but the farther away, it's more like the fruit smell.
I
So,
totally agree. Yes, you get the more aromatics as you let it react with the air. But the closer you get, the more poignant, the more alcoholic. And Khan's like, the drink of Vikings, popular with her good metalheads. Yeah, skål. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a internet kampai. Get the
yeah. Okay.
yeah. I actually got like a teleprompter here, so it'll actually say ching. Okay, no, it's plastic. It sounded like plastic.
No, yeah, no.
Ding.
I could do that with this pet bottle.
Right. It's all good. Okay, guys, cheers. Skål.
Skål, salud,
Salud. Santé.
santé,
Ooh.
prosit.
Ooh. That is sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet. There's like this sense of tingliness at the tip of your tongue.
Mm.
Hmm.
Definitely. Like it's it's burning down, and I don't know if it's the alcohol or like the raw sweetness of it that's like burning my
Like the
esophagus.
yeah, like the fruit sourness kind of.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
quite
Hmm.
nice. It's
Hmm.
quite it
Hmm.
it's almost like
And it is kind of burning as it goes down,
mm,
but really
mm.
sweet in your mouth. It's good.
The second one I did a really quick swig, and what I did is I just let it kind of coat the top of my tongue, and it
Hmm.
almost like evaporated really quickly. So if you do it in
Hmm.
small hits, small hits,
Hmm.
you get this kind of like effervescent kind of.
Hmm.
It just kind of
Hmm.
floats away, and it does.
Hmm.
That doesn't burn, but wow, the first cut's the deepest. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's
And
nice
there's
though.
like the what's that candy, the licorice, the red candy. It's that kind of a
Mm.
sweetness is there
Oh,
too.
like a Twizzler, like a red Twizzler almost.
Twizzler, yeah,
Yeah,
or that red kind of gummy kind of
licorice. Yeah.
chewy licorice, or yeah. There's a red kind and a black kind, or maybe two. Those are two different flavors.
It's funny that you
But
say that because there's another. I think it's from Austria. They also have a lot of apricot like spirits from there. And it's more instead
hmm
of a wine, it's more of like a clear liquor, and
hmm
it has that very Zambuca licorice kind of flavor, but it's from apricots
hmm
as well. So it's interesting
hmm
that you say that.
hmm 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 hmm
This is lovely. To me, what it almost like tastes like, I would almost compare it to umeshu with a little bit more sweetness, less sourness to it.
hmm
Umeshu is a plum wine, Japanese plum wine.
hmm hmm
Mm. Speaking of these type of plum wines and fruity wines, in Japan, it is very common for them to sell all the ingredients that you need in the supermarkets to make your own umeshu, your own plum wine. They'll sell the container. You can buy the more raw greenish plums and all the like the sugars and the other, I think, the vinegar or the sour that you put in there. Have you ever made your own liquor or umeshu?
I haven't. I mean, my girlfriend does. I think my
Mm.
dad does. My grandmother did. Our neighbor would, and sometimes they would share it.
Yeah.
But I've never done it myself. I'm not that advanced. In fact, like I went this conference called the Smart Kitchen Summit since I was thinking about innovation and cooking, and
Cool.
there was a stand. Somebody was giving a presentation like a startup with a kit that allows you to brew your own beer at home.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently these things like beer making is becoming more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if legality has any issue, but uh, like like using fruit and like you said, liquor
Mm-hmm.
making liquor at home is, I think, fairly common. I mean, people who really enjoy it do enjoy it. But at the same time, there's a lot of Asian people who are alcohol intolerant.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess those people won't, that won't be their hobby. But yeah, they would get, yeah, they would get the container, they would get those rock sugar,
Yep. Yep.
korizato, yeah,
Yep.
those rock sugar, and then they would just pour a lot of shochu into it and let it sit for like half a year
Yeah, half a
or
year to a
something
year,
like
or
that.
years,
Yeah,
or
several
years. Yeah.
years. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember Dylan would make it in batches. He often would make that stuff, and he'd be like,
Really
"Oh, this is the one from
nice.
'99. This is the one from that one," and they all have a different kind of, each year has a different
You let
harvest.
it settle.
Yep,
Hmm.
let it
Hmm.
settle.
Hmm.
I knew some guy who was
Uh-huh.
making. We went camping out in Tango Hanto, and he brought his own kind of moonshine, I guess. But he would infuse apple. He would infuse honey. He would infuse a whole bunch of different fruits. I think one it was strawberry. Put strawberry in there. Like wow, it was really
Hmm.
cool. It's
Hmm.
really nice to
Hmm.
taste them
Hmm.
all. We have a nice comment from Con. He's like, love black licorice, hate red licorice. No relation to anything. Just saying. Awesome, Con. And he's like, yes, we make umeshu at my place every year. Wow, we grow the plums in our garden. How cool is
neat.
that? Oh, Con, you gotta give me some plums, you know what I'm saying? We're getting out there. When you tell me when it's season, here come on. Yeah, no, I think we also had the plum. The plums in Japan, though, are a little different than the plums we have back home. The ones here are a little more green, smaller. The ones back home are a little bit more purple skinned, a little bigger, and
Oh
get
yeah.
really
Maybe
really
it's a
soft.
different breed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It would be interesting to make wine from that. I don't know if that would work. But guys, wow. Hey, kampai, whatever. What are you drinking now? I'm going to finish this off. We have a whole bottle here. I haven't heard my wife say, "Save me some," yet, but I'm sure the comment is coming. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, Mr. Linguistics and Liquor? LNL? Do you want to have a little bit more of this, have a chit chat, or do you want to bring out round two?
Yeah, we'll do the round two. Yeah, I mean we don't want to get too drunk that we can't do the rest of the show. So we'll keep moving on.
Yep. Referencing
However,
Lito's last stream.
before we move on, yeah, number one, make sure you guys like the channel, this program. The other thing, there was another bottle that I really recommended. It's plum whiskey,
Mhm.
Or plum liqueur. It's made by Suntory. Yamazaki is their famous whiskey brewery place.
Yeah.
So they made the plum whiskey and then they let it sit in the whiskey barrels. So
Nice.
it's plum liqueur, but it has this faint aroma of whiskey, like a nice barrel smell to it, and it's extremely smooth. It's really delicious. It's like the kind of liquor like you wake up in the morning and you want to have some more kind of. Um,
Wow, nice.
yeah, it's that good. And there are three different kinds with three different prices, and the middle one is the best. The
Okay.
first one is more like purely plum liqueur. The second one, the middle one, the price of the first one is like $15 or something, like 1,500 yen, 1,700 yen. The middle
Nice.
one is like $30, but
Yeah.
it's really good and smooth. The third one, they actually mix the whiskey into it, and for me, it's kind of
Oh.
too much whiskey in
Oh,
with the
okay.
plum liqueur.
Mm-hmm.
So again, someday we should try the middle one. The top one costs like $50 or something, 5,000 yen
Okay. Tell
US
you what,
dollars. So
I
yeah,
I know you were suggesting it on this stream, but I think this is a nice teaser into that. Wow, I just kind of almost bit the top of my tongue. And but how about this? How about we have once you start your channel and I'm doing my channel, I mean I have a subscriber goal of once we get to 200 subscribers, I'm going to do some sort of musical related stream or video. But maybe once
yeah.
you get to your goal and I get to my next goal, after that, why don't we celebrate by doing one of these streams with a bottle of that? That could be a cool
Okay,
one.
sure,
Yeah,
sure, yeah,
yeah. You wanna? Are we
yeah. Why
pinky?
not?
Are we
Good idea.
shaking on it?
You
Pinky
haven't
swear.
done this pinky thing
Yeah, the pinky
for
thing.
ages.
Yeah, digital
Maybe
pinky
for a
swear.
good reason.
Yeah. Okay, and here it is, people.
Promise.
Drum roll, please. Chica Cruz saying, "Save me some."
Oh.
Heart mark, fire. Yes, I called it. Thank you, Chica Cruz, for coming in for the comment of the night. There have been some awesome comments here. We're gonna get to round two. Yes, I will definitely save you some. This is really nice. I have to admit. I'm not buzzed or anything, but I get this feeling of sweet surrender.
14%.
Okay.
Yeah.
14%. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Have to kind of watch out if you
Yeah.
won't overdo it.
That's slow. You got to take that slow. Okay, dude. Let's go back to the side by side. What's your round two?
Round two. So I was kind of we're talking about the plum whiskey we were talking earlier. And I thought, okay, well, next time I meet my other buddies, friends for a drink in the park, I thought, okay, maybe I'll bring something more citrusy. And somebody was complimenting about yuzu, this big bottle,
Nice.
that this yuzu is this small, tiny citrus, and apparently it's very acidic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you would they would put it with some Japanese food, as just like lemon and I don't know, salad or with chicken or fish or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you and yuzu has its own citrus aroma.
Nice.
You all may have heard of it before.
I love
So,
yuzu. It's one of my favorite citrus fruits in Japan, and I think I've
hmm
only seen it in Japan. I heard they also use it a little bit in China. Sometimes they'll
hmm
use the actual fruit and put it in onsen, a
Yeah.
hot spring, just
Okay.
to give it that
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
aromatic, and
Uh-huh.
maybe there's other properties that help with the skin and whatnot.
Hmm.
Cool. So what is that? Is that just a liqueur?
It's yeah, it should be. It's 12% alcohol.
Hmm.
I'm looking for the word liqueur, but you can you can drink it cold. It says it's not it's rich of aroma, but it's not sweet. So maybe that's a good thing for a change from the this apricot. You
Yeah.
can drink it cold, drink it on a rock with soda. Spirits. It says
Spirits.
spirits with
Okay, so it's type of
katakana.
liqueur. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
that reminds me of this Star
I
Wars
guess.
series that's really popular now with Baby Yoda. It's the Mandalorian, and his lines is, "I can bring you in hot, or I can bring you in cold." It kind of reminds me of, "I can drink you hot, or I can drink you cold." Um,
Okay.
and Khan's like, "Oh man, Khan's making me so jealous. We grow yuzu. We grow those in our garden too.
Okay,
Nice
okay.
one."
Well, we should expect Khan to make us these alcohol then.
Khan's gonna be on the show sometime soon, so watch out for the Khan.
Definitely with your
For
homemade moonshine
Yeah, watch out for the
from your
wrath
garden.
of Khan. Yeah, and it's a pretty cool Japanese folksy duo. Awesome, awesome. Yuzu, yeah, the band
Thanks.
Yuzu, right?
Mm.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a pop song group called Yuzu, right?
Yuzu. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
one. I didn't know you could actually eat the fruit. I know people like just squeeze the juice or like get the rind, the skin for the aromatics. But can you
Hmm.
actually put it in
Hmm.
salad and stuff? I didn't know that.
No, like yuzu. I
Or just
mean, yuzu flavor. You know, the juice
mhm.
for the aroma into. I mean, like on the clear soup, like not the miso murky soup, but
Mhm, mhm.
like osumashi.
Yeah,
Like sometimes, like you said, the rind, the skin, they would put it in, and it would give that aroma.
awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yuzu is one of the ugliest looking citruses. It's like got this like
Oh, the
rough kind
rough
of like
kind.
if a witch had a love child with a lemon, it would turn out to be a yuzu. Because it's all like, yeah, hi, I'm a yuzu. Look at my cruddy
Okay.
skin. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
too much
it
detail.
sounds like an Halloween story.
Yeah, Halloween. Sorry, hey, wanna try my yuzu? And Con Coleman's like, as Worf, I am honored. Yes, from Star Trek. Con, you gotta, dude. I finally got your character on the Star Trek game. We have the Con on the Star Trek game, so check that out on Monday Fun Days. Okay, I'm gonna show my round two if that's okay, and then we can
Yeah,
come
yeah,
by on
yeah.
that. So I went the cheapy route.
Yuzu. Great.
I went the cheapy route in the supermarket by my house. The only yuzu stuff they had was this kind of stuff,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
think it was only this. So what this is actually non-alcohol
You're right.
yuzu, and it says yuzu sake soda taste.
Okay.
So it's soda flavored, non-alcoholic chuhai. I guess they're going for it because it says
Okay,
liqueur.
okay.
So yeah, I didn't want a replay of last week. No, dousing on the equipment. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm,
but yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Did you break yours open already? Are you breaking it open now? Okay, sweet.
Now it is, yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, this is a pretty big bottle, but it was only like $5,
Oh
like
wow.
500 yen, something like that. So
Yeah, I think this one was like
came out
150
economical.
yen. Let's see if I can pour it without getting it all over my desktop. The
Yeah.
beer
Oh man,
smell
your
finally
soda
came out.
sounds great. I wish I could mix it with this one. I wish we could both
Oh
mix it.
yeah, that's right. You just throw it through the screen, you know.
Nope. Yeah, I saw you do that last time.
That's right. We no replays, no replays of that. Wow. Can you guys? Yeah, no Yuzugate. Con saying, I'm giving a little ASMR. I'm putting the microphone is right above. Do you hear those bubbles popping?
I do.
I'll have to
Yeah,
Give you some
nice. Makes me thirsty.
yuzu MR, ASMR. But that's what it looks like. It's kind of murky. But how's your smelling? I can smell the yuzu.
Yeah, they use a lot of citrus smells for like dish detergents, dishwashing soap. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it reminds me of.
Is that what it reminds you of? You know, Japanese people who are
Ooh,
not used to root beer, when they drink root beer for the first time, it reminds them of medicine, because that's what I think medicine used to
medicine.
taste like
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Chica, would
Mm.
you like some root beer? And she'd be like, no thanks. um, that's not bad.
Wow.
It's a virgin yuzu chuhai, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get buzzed on that. How's yours?
It's definitely not sweet.
Oh,
There's I don't know, there's a bitterness to it. Um,
really?
so I would use this to like use maybe make a homemade liqueur with putting more fruits with it.
Mm-mm.
But it's quite a contrast. It's quite a contrast.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to be in the right mood to finish this.
I see. I see. You're doing it
Yeah.
on the rocks right now. Is that it?
No, just plain. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the issues. If it's
Mm-hmm.
like super chilled, it might be easier to drink.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's all about
But
the chill and chat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta try before, if not, you won't know what it's like. So
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. And
yeah.
you can say the same about starting a YouTube channel. Just gotta try.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you don't know, right?
Yeah, I've done enough research.
All right. It's time to start getting. Do you have any channel name ideas before we finish
I
this up?
do, I do. And again, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But it does have something to do with language and food or cooking and whatnot. I mean, all I got the video clips. All I need to do is edit it. So,
Yeah.
and I watched the YouTube clips about how to edit it with this free video editing software.
Cool.
I think Blender.
Blender. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it's just a matter of sitting down and putting it together now. Although, yeah, the post recording part, I don't know much. I also need to collect all the languages for the vocabulary.
Yeah.
So there are a couple more tasks left to kind of achieve what I'm thinking of. I don't know if it will be sustainable, but because they say YouTube is a marathon, so
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, that's what they say. But they
mm,
also say,
mm.
just start. Just do it. And then you can adjust from there. Like
Yeah,
Matt
yeah.
said, just start your channel and then start learning. And take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, man, it has been an honor and a great time having you on the
Yeah,
stream.
sure. You got a couple more minutes? Because
Of course
I
I
got
do.
something I really want to share.
Yeah.
Something that I've never thought I would buy. But so I went to Umeda Loft and
Mm-mm.
they had this, Gundam Cafe little booth with all these different glasses and mugs. So I was tempted and I fell to temptation and bought this glass for this special occasion. They also, believe it or not, you should go and film, maybe even film this on the first floor,
Mm-hmm.
right at the entrance before you get to the escalator. They had a Dragon Quest booth,
Oh, nice.
related to gaming. And
Cool.
they had some like limit, and it just started today, so it was just by luck that I
Oh, okay.
walked by it.
Cool, cool.
And so I know my girlfriend's sister is big into Dragon Quest. So, and
Mm,
I've always wanted to get, some trinkets or something for her as a gift. And so I got her this something practical, slime Kyusu.
oh, cool, dude.
You
I,
with me?
I just
Yeah.
I just saw actually today I had a little bit of Japanese TV on. There's a Dragon Quest
Okay.
animation on TV, and the slime that saved the day was a golden slime. It was that one, but with wings.
Was it? Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know what that
I
is, a
think,
gold slimer, but
and then no, I actually after buying the product, I had dinner with the older sister, um, just because she just happened to be available and showed her this, and I told her, I got this as a gift, but I wanted to show Lito's show tonight. So can I take it with me? Can I
Oh,
borrow it?
oh,
So
that's
so at
awesome.
least she got to see it, and then so this is the Kyusu, which I thought was really good. The top opens
Kyusu.
and you
It's,
can
oh, it's a
brew
teapot.
some,
Yeah, nice.
yeah, teapot.
Kyusu.
Um, and of course, um, it also comes. This is kind of in a Japanese style box. A little Kyusu. This is a it says slime smile or something. So of
Wow.
course with something you make tea, you want to drink it. It's not a Japanese style drinking tea cup, but this is a mug. I got her a mug,
Hmm.
which maybe the light might be too strong, but and it might be difficult to see,
Hmm.
but this part is kind of do you see the kind of the three-dimensional it kind
Oh,
of
it's kind of coming out a bit.
pops up. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this subtle design thing going on.
Cool.
So I like this subtleness. And then
Are
I
these
don't
all the
know.
things that you bought for your girlfriend's older sister, or she
Older
bought them?
sister. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
She's really into the
And
yellow
then
slimes.
I mean Dragon Quest. I mean
Yeah.
slime is one of the iconic figures.
Oh,
This is
dude,
this is another
where's my
this is
slime here?
another cute one.
You mean
What's
are you
that?
talking about one of these guys coming out of the treasure chest? It's hard to see
Oh,
on that.
cute.
These are
There you
little
go. You got it.
gachas. Oh yeah.
Neat. Yeah,
I'm
they
a
had something similar like that too.
I'm a
And
Dragon
then
Quest fan
I
for
thought
sure.
this one was cute. There was like a little slime on the handle.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool. That's a cute one. I hope that thing
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
fall off.
What was it that you were showing?
Oh, I've got a Hydra. This was actually for a D&D campaign that I was
Oh,
DMing,
okay.
and I think I got another
Re
adventure there.
Related to Dragon Quest or something
I
else?
think it's a Dragon Quest boss.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I got one of these adventures from one of the games. I'm not sure who he is. It got really
Mm-hmm.
cheap. So, love Dragon Quest for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
hold on, while you're doing all these cool
And then a gray one, like I
oh my
think it's
god,
called a metal slime or
Metal
something
Slime,
like
yeah,
that.
those guys are so hard
Yeah,
to kill.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard, and they only appear occasionally, or they run away
Oh,
real quick. Anyway, I thought this one was cool, and I got kind of got it for myself, so
that's
a little
awesome,
treat.
dude.
Yeah,
How much
yeah,
are
yeah,
those mug
yeah.
cups? Those are great.
It was like I don't know, $10, $15.
Wow, okay, it's good to
Yeah, the
know.
Kyusu was like maybe $20
Yeah.
Nissan, but yeah,
Oh my god.
affordable.
If
I
you
mean,
are,
I don't. It's not that often that I buy gifts for her anyway. So
awesome. Well,
uh,
that's really nice
yeah,
of you. I just
yeah.
wanted to say a big shout out to Video Game Bar Space Station watching out on Twitch. Thank you so much for checking out the stream, dude. And you're like interesting perspective. This is when we had the top down. Matt, you just came in back when we finished our round 2. We are having. Actually, I'm gonna show him real quick the drinks that we were drinking. So yeah, Matt, we just did a comply. We got some of this nice apricot anzu no osake that we opened up on the stream. Had a little drink on it in the honey pot, and then round 2 of some yuzu infused drinks. So that's what you were watching, and I forgot to bring the camera back. But you're like, interesting perspective. Why are we looking at your mouse and thumb? I was giving you the thumbs up there. My mouse just happens to be in the shot because I like giving you a shot. I don't know if it should be there. And he's like, man, people are going nuts with your opening. Yeah, that's great. He's like, oh wow, that's a cool teapot. I tell
Oh,
you
they
what,
like it.
I tell you
Cool.
what. Just kidding about the knave part. Yes, but it is a metal babble. A metal babble. Is that what it's called?
Hmm.
Metal
Yeah.
babble. It's a metal babble, you knave. Is what he was saying earlier. There you go. Um,
Yeah.
metal babble. Yes. Brian saying metal slimes are so strong. You know that I know you might not be in a Pokemon Go, but Dragon Quest only in Japan has a Pokemon Go esque AR game that you play going around. Yeah, and I encountered a few. It was a cool game. I didn't get too into it. It was fun to try for a little bit. It's only in Japan at the moment. It's too bad, because it's really based on the Japanese map. You know, what they do it on, and the metal slimes are just so hard to kill. I don't think I ever killed one, let alone hit one. You only hit them for like 1 hit point. I don't know how many hit points they have, but they're really crazy. Did you play a lot of the games there, Eugene?
I started playing Pokemon Go. I think I was in Japan. I've tried it also in when I went to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I remember trying it. But
Hmm.
then I I was visiting there only for I don't know, maybe a week, and so getting internet was a little difficult. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I haven't tried the Dragon Quest one yet. I was just talking about that with my girlfriend, and she heard rumors that it eats up your battery really quickly.
I think it
So
does. Yeah.
it's really demanding in that sense.
The cool thing about the Dragon Quest one is actually you start to build your own home, and then you can deck it out with like all the different figurines that you collect, and you can make the bed, you can change the sheets, change the curtains.
Oh, okay.
It has that
Neat.
customizing aspect. There's a game coming out
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
pretty soon that has that kind of MMORPGs, World of Warcraft. Plus, you also it's like a building game. You build your own house and customize it. I forgot what it's called. It's coming out pretty soon though.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's interesting. I always thought Pokemon Go would be a big travel boon. This was before
Mm-hmm.
COVID, obviously. But now, I don't know. I don't know if people are still into it. I still play it once in a while. It's Fashion Week right now. But the cool thing that people are into, even if they're not into Pokemon Go, is the Pokemon manhole covers in Japan, and they just dropped a whole bunch in
Oh, okay.
in Osaka recently. So if you're into that, actually, I
Mm-hmm.
found one of them in my latest Kyoto vid that you can check out on my channel. It's the Kyoto Walk. It's in Maruyama Park, which is just behind Yasuka Shrine. So check it out, and you'll find out where the hidden one. It's a not the Pikachu one. It's one related to Pikachu. P P Pika. It's the baby form of Pikachu. If you like.
Okay.
It's a
I
P.
see.
It's a P. Anyways, dude, how are you feeling? You feeling okay?
Good, good. Having a nice buzz. I don't think I'll have any issues sleeping tonight. Talking of COVID.
Awesome, awesome, guys. Guys,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
give a big hand for Eugene for being my awesome guest tonight.
Thanks
We
so much.
might have to, yeah, Pichu, that's it. Oh, Paul Markle on the stream. Paul, how you doing? Gonna give you the horns of welcome. Hey, Paul, it's nice to see you,
All
dude.
right,
It is
nice.
Pichu. You are correct. But yeah, do consider checking out that video, other content. We got live streams coming up. We got Sunday Fun Day Mondays on Twitch, doing some game streams, and yeah, it's all for you guys. Eugene, I might have to take Con's recommendation and change the title of this is "Living in Japan with COVID" as a foreigner, part
What's the
one,
okay?
or in parentheses or something. But seriously,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you
I'll
for.
take that with a sense of humor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's true though. We did talk about
Yeah.
it. And Video Game Bar Stay Station saying goodbye, Eugene. So long. Farewell.
Thanks.
Adieu, adieu, adieu. Um, dude, we're really looking forward to what you're gonna come up with the language and lasagna. No, language and culinary cuisine channel.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
check him out. He's gonna do some really creative, interesting things with language, videography, as well as food. So I'm hungry to see
Something
more.
entertaining. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and if we do the in streamtion that Matt the Empire said, yeah, maybe Eugene will be part of the stream within a stream within a stream. Life is but a
Mm-hmm,
stream,
mm-hmm,
isn't it?
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're gonna go out to the
Nice word.
outro. So Eugene, for the outro, what it is, we're gonna dance it out. I got a little bit of music going on there. I'm gonna put your head in
All
the corner,
right.
and you know, are gonna rock it out, and we'll see some of the farewell comments in the back. Guys, thank you so much for being on the stream.
Okay.
Eugene, you've been awesome. It's almost 3 hours, dude. You're still standing up, so that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. And I'll get my
Oh,
smoke and my siren effect going here.
oh my God, Eugene's got the party on. I gotta get him.